Chapter 12:16. It was an extremely large area of effect crowd control soul skill. It could be said to be an abnormal control ability. At least in Wang Feng's memory, this soul skill was extremely terrifying. This was because the environment formed by the power of absolute ice was similar to the absolute ice forbidden land. However, the absolute ice forbidden land was strengthened by the soul power of the ice and water gods, as well as the power of absolute ice from the million-year Qilin Lord Ice Empress. However, the absolute ice heaven and earth was a weakened version of the absolute ice forbidden land. If Qilin Lord Ice Empress reached the million-year level and unleashed this soul skill, it would be equivalent to the absolute ice forbidden land in terms of area of effect and power. It was equivalent to carrying an absolute ice forbidden land around. When Qilin Lord Ice Empress faced the two soul sages from the two great academies, the effect was obvious. 1,000-year soul skill, absolute ice seal. It was a single target control soul skill with a strong offensive soul skill. There was nothing much to say about this move. When used together with 100-year soul skill, it was like a fish in water. Of course, the control ability was far greater than the offensive ability. Any soul beast or soul master that was sealed by absolute ice seal would find it difficult to break free unless they were twice as strong as Qilin Lord Ice Empress. The power of absolute ice was no joke. It was an attribute that surpassed absolute ice. How many people in this world could surpass the absolute ice attribute? After signing a soul contract, the soul beast's soul skills were no longer produced by the soul beast's own comprehension. They would appear at a fixed time. 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, 1,000,000 years. They would produce soul skills according to their own abilities. Of course, there was a possibility that some soul beasts could comprehend special soul skills. Therefore, a life soul contract was a unified plan for the soul beast. Actually, to most soul beasts, their soul skills were very vague and their strength was very chaotic. After signing a soul contract, the soul beast's own energy would be completely sorted out and released. It could unleash more of the soul beast's potential. Among them, the production of soul skills was inextricably linked to the training of soul masters and soul beasts. However, Qilin Lord Ice Empress was an exception. Because he was a million-year soul beast, he had strong control over his own abilities. In addition, his body was very strong. He didn't need Wang Feng to train him, and the soul skills he produced were the most suitable and perfect. On the contrary, Long Xie was different. Long Xie's soul was strong and had strong control over his body. However, his body was not very strong. Wang Feng still needed to train and nurture it. The rock that he had fed the divine mountain was a special case. As a result, Long Xie was born with a lightning attribute that he shouldn't have. Therefore, there were many ways to nurture a soul beast, even if it had signed a contract with a soul beast. Feeding this special ingredient was just one of the circumstances. They could also undergo special training to strengthen their soul beasts. And 10,000 years after Lin Lord Isimu had reached the level of Lin Lord Isimu, it also produced an extremely powerful 10,000-year soul skill. Ice Wing Godblade. Lin Mu Lord's ice wings are filled with the power of absolute ice. Together with the mechanical wing blades, this pair of wings possess extremely powerful offensive capabilities. Qilin Lord Ice Empress could disassemble its wings and hold them in both hands, turning them into sharp blades for close combat. At the same time, he used the absolute ice power in his ice wings to increase his strength by 50%. Divine Blade's attack had a special effect, Divine Blade. The Divine Blade's special effect allowed the absolute ice power within the Ice Blade to enter the enemy's body and cause immense damage. At the same time, it marked the enemy and caused them to use any sensory concealing soul skills, causing them to disappear from Lin Mu Lord's senses. As a 10,000-year soul beast, the soul skills produced were often crucial. This Icewing Godblade was very crucial. When Qilin Lord Ice Empress took off its wings, They turned into two dazzling ice blades that shone with a cold light. Soul skills were fixed. They would only increase as one's cultivation increased. However, Qilin Lord Ice Empress still had many abilities that it didn't reveal. After all, Qilin Lord Ice Empress wasn't an ordinary soul beast. It was extremely powerful. Just 4 soul skills weren't enough to fully display its abilities. However, the effects of these 4 soul skills were already very strong. Wang Feng's own soul skills could also change. It's alright. Soul skills are just a side effect for me. Wang Feng laughed. He was recultivating, but he possessed too many powerful abilities. Chaotic 8 notes, absolute wind lightning spear, emptiness, dustless glass divine body, 7 origin powers. No matter which one it was, they were all stronger than pure soul skills. Unless Long Xie and Qilin Lord Ice Empress reached 100,000 years, their soul skills wouldn't be as powerful as his. This was especially so for his 7 origin powers. Logically speaking, even if he had only awakened the Judgment origin power and could only use it to summon the Judgment lightning punishment, it was still very powerful. After reaching rank 30, Wang Feng discovered that he could combine the Judgment origin power with the chaotic 8 notes. Wang Feng had completed the chaotic 8 notes after 10,000 years. However, he could only use 3 notes now: thunder, light, and defense. Wang Feng's cultivation of the chaotic 8 notes was on the level of the heaven-shrouding 9 secrets. Wang Feng discovered that the Judgment origin power could be fused into the Death Note. Even with his current abilities, he could reach a level where he could truly judge life. Death represented death. Judgment was able to judge the death of all living beings. The power of the Judgment lightning punishment originated from this. Even the bodies of soul demons couldn't withstand it. However, the Judgment lightning punishment was only one of the ways the Judgment origin power manifested. The Judgment origin power was an origin power that represented the Tao. It wasn't just the Judgment lightning punishment. It was just that Wang Feng couldn't fully unleash it due to his cultivation base. When Wang Feng first created this syllable, he wanted to use his mental strength to directly kill his enemies, causing them to die. It was a very pure mental attack technique. However, after creating it, he realized that it was somewhat useless. This was because he didn't need it. Although Wang Feng's mental strength was powerful, this technique could only kill those with weaker mental strength than him. As for those weaker than him, Wang Feng had too many ways to defeat and kill them. Why did he have to use this? Wasn't this useless? The 3 notes he used were thunder, light, and defense. They represented control, recovery, and defense. They all had various uses. Even with the various forms of the Chaos Green Lotus, the chaotic 8 notes could still be used. Now that he didn't have the Chaos Green Lotus, his chaotic 8 notes were even more useful. However, the Death Note was especially useless. The Death Note is to use mental strength to kill enemies. Combined with the Judgment origin power, this move is extremely effective against living beings whose mental strength and soul are stronger than one's. It can reach the true Judgment level. It can be used as a trump card. Wang Fengxin pondered. Chapter 12:17. For example, soul demons. The strength of soul demons lay in the fact that their spiritual souls were extremely strong. They could either devour the other party's soul or be devoured by the other party's soul. Otherwise, it would be too difficult to kill a soul demon. The most terrifying thing was that soul demons could separate their souls from their bodies. Moin was like that when he first met him. The power of the Judgment lightning tribulation could only destroy the other party's body. He had to find the other party's soul first. With the current MO voice and Judgment origin power, he could judge and kill the other party even if the other party's soul wasn't in the body. Furthermore, Wang Feng could even break soul skills like Soul Link with the Judgment origin power. He would be able to control the other party's soul. In this way, the Judgment origin power wouldn't just be in the form of Judgment lightning tribulation. After thinking this through, Wang Feng's thoughts were enlightened. Although this move was extremely terrifying, it was still very strong. It was indeed very strong. Long Xie is still cultivating. He should have entered a deeper level of cultivation. Lin Lord Bingmu said, "Should I wake him up?" "No need." Wang Feng thought for a moment. The soul demons in the extreme north are a little difficult for him to deal with. On the contrary, it's a good thing for him to cultivate here. I'll wake him up after the situation in the extreme north is resolved. Let's leave together and see how Shiyu is doing. Lin Lord Bingmu nodded. In the northernmost lands, he'd be more useful and stronger than Long Xie. Therefore, Wang Feng planned to let Long Xie cultivate here for a while. He would bring him along when he left the extreme north. Wang Feng walked out of the Serene Spirit Cave and brought Lin Lord Bingmu to the central area of the Four Extremities Myriad Elephant Valley. Although it was called the central area, it was actually just a medium-sized platform. When Wang Feng arrived at the place, he happened to sense a strong aura circulating within it. For different types of origin energy of heaven and earth spiraled in the air and finally gathered in the figure in the center. She sat cross-legged in the void. Her face wasn't considered to be devastatingly beautiful. Only divine light flowed in it at this moment. Then, Wang Feng saw a scene that shocked him. He saw a martial soul. It was a martial soul that he had never seen before. A pattern that Wang Feng was very familiar with appeared above Shiyu's head. A Taiji diagram. Yin and Yang, black and white, were like two fishes that had an origin point. However, this was not enough to shock Wang Feng. What surprised Wang Feng the most was the two parts of the Taiji pattern. The white part had the twinkling stars, the sun, and the moon. There were also pitch-black dots in the sky. There was a galaxy in the background, as if there was a hidden universe. The dark part was as black as ink, and there was only one F***CK. Wang Feng looked at it. This was probably a twin yin-yang martial spirit that had never been seen before. It looked like there was only one martial spirit, a yin-yang fish Taiji diagram. However, in this picture, there was something extremely terrifying. They seemed to be one, but in reality, they were two martial spirits. Cold sweat trickled down Wang Feng's back. This martial spirit was terrifying. If it was only the Tai Chi diagram martial spirit, Wang Feng would at most think that Shiyu might be a transmigrator. However, the diagram hidden within the Tai Chi diagram was the most terrifying. As Wang Feng had guessed, the white one represented the universe, because there were the sun, moon, stars, and the galaxy as the background. It was just that there weren't many planets. As for the dark part, although there was only one point, but if Wang Feng guessed correctly, it was called a singularity. In his previous life, there was a singularity Big Bang theory, which referred to the birth of the universe. It was the opposite form of the universe. These two martial souls, Wang Feng looked and broke out in cold sweat. If not from the mythical level, the strength of these two martial souls was not weaker than the Chaos Green Lotus. In the universe, anything that involves this level, no matter what it is not simple. Like the star, moon, sun, martial soul, these are at best only insignificant existences in the universe. Could this be the legendary son of destiny? Wang Feng suddenly thought. Just based on these two martial souls, Wang Feng didn't need to think to know that Shiyu represented an extreme. In the Douluo world, except for himself, there was no one with a stronger martial soul than her. It was no wonder that the other party's strength was so strong. This Shiyu also has the capital to surpass the supreme god. Wang Fengxin said. Needless to say, if she didn't have the same system cheat as him, then it was needless to say. She must be at the Son of Destiny level. No, she should be at the Son of the Universe level. Tang San and Hui Yu Hao couldn't be compared to her. However, as the Son of Destiny, this appearance doesn't match her strength. Wang Fengxin said, "She's far worse than me." He thought as he looked. "Boss, what is this martial soul?" Qilin Lord Bingmu seemed to be very curious, and there was even a hint of seriousness in his eyes. Even I feel a sense of fear. It's very complicated, and it can't be explained in one or two sentences. But this martial soul is indeed very powerful, Wang Feng replied. It's normal for you to feel fear. Any living being would feel fear in the face of the boundless universe. Now that he saw Shiyu's martial soul, Wang Feng felt that she used 20% strength was not enough to seriously injure the three soul demons. With such a powerful martial soul, Shiyu's development was obviously ordinary. Otherwise, with Shiyu's strength, even if it was only 20% or 30%, she could easily kill those three powerful soul demons and not seriously injure them. Perhaps it was because this martial soul was too strong, so strong that it was beyond the scope of the Douluo world. So in the Douluo world, this martial soul could only be developed to this extent. After all, this was the upper limit of the Douluo world. Wang Feng even suspected that if Shiyu didn't transmigrate, she might not know the origin of her martial soul, especially that strange point on the black side of the Taiji diagram. And the concept of the universe had not been born in the Douluo world. After all, it was not a world that focused on the development of technology. At least in the Federation, there was no such concept. What was the universe? Even if Wang Feng asked Muan, who had lived for more than 200 years, he wouldn't know. It would take at least another few thousand years before it appeared. Boss, she seems to be in a situation. At this moment, Qilin Lord Bing Mu suddenly said, Wang Feng came back to his senses and looked over. His expression changed slightly. The Taiji diagram above, Shiyu's head suddenly rotated. This rotation directly caused the heaven and earth essence Qi to fluctuate in the four extremes nature manifestation valley. A jet black color appeared on Shiyu's face. Two black and white soul cores rotated and appeared in Shiyu's sea of consciousness, causing Shiyu's body to emit two kinds of light. It was just that her brows were tightly knitted, which meant that she was not feeling well at the moment. Did something go wrong? Wang Feng looked at Shiyu in surprise. P.S. There's still one more chapter. It will be late. Also, ask for some monthly votes. The updates will slowly increase. Chapter 12:18. It wasn't rare for a cultivator to have a setback during their cultivation. On the contrary, the stronger the martial soul, the easier it was for things to go wrong, because it was very difficult to control power. The simplest example, Pangu Axe. When Wang Feng first used Pangu Axe, it was thrilling and dancing on the tip of the blade. For a martial soul that was far more powerful than one's own, cultivating was extremely risky. CS seemed to be in the same situation now. After observing for a while, Wang Feng roughly understood where Sia's cultivation went wrong. Very simple, it was an imbalance. This martial soul is very strange. It is a combination of two martial souls, but it is also separate. Yin and Yang coexist, and it is very mysterious. Wang Feng muttered, Universe, martial soul. Although Sia's universe looked very empty, it was indeed such a thing. There was a starry sky, stars, planets, and a sun, but it was still too empty. It was like a painting. It looked beautiful, but he could not feel any life force. It was just a martial soul. On the other hand, it represented the dark side of the mysterious singularity. It was even more simple. Even if this martial soul was revealed, not many people would understand, because they did not understand. The imbalance was because Sia had a soul connection with the soul demon and must have devoured the soul of the soul demon, causing her dark side, singularity, martial soul to fluctuate violently. Although this martial soul is powerful, it is easier for problems to arise. Once the Yin and Yang twin martial souls are out of balance, it may cause unimaginable damage to the user. Wang Feng was suddenly curious. How did Xia cultivate to become a titled Dalu? It was definitely not simple. Perhaps her story was not inferior to his. Should we help her? Lin Lord Bing Mu asked. He also knew that Xia was a great help to them. Let's give it a try. Wang Feng pondered for a few seconds. If it did not work, then forget it. This was also risky. The majestic aura of the two martial souls made Wang Feng feel a little pressured. This was the first time from the perspective of martial souls. Thinking of this, Wang Feng could not help but sigh. His chaotic green lotus and Pangu axe were both given to him by the system. He did not know if Xia was born by him or had other origins. If she had been brought along by him, then the origin of Shiyu herself was worth thinking about. Martial spirits were basically related to the family's bloodline inheritance. Without the interference of external factors, it was impossible for a martial spirit to mutate greatly. For example, universe martial souls and singularity martial souls had nothing to do with this world. From a technological point of view, they were far inferior. How could such a martial soul be born? Modern research on martial spirits had found that the mutation of martial spirits was closely related to the development of modern human society. With the development of soul guidance technology, humans would gradually be able to understand martial souls like the stars, the moon, and the sun. However, in the universe, a martial soul like the singularity was clearly beyond the technological limits of this world. Even if the future Douluo world really entered the interstellar era, Wang Feng felt that it was unlikely for such a martial soul to appear. Could she be someone from another world who was left behind on the Douluo continent? Wang Feng could not help but think of such a possibility. Could it be a descendant of some supreme being of a universe who came to the Douluo world to seal his memories and experience life? As a transmigrator, Wang Feng couldn't help but let his imagination run wild. Or perhaps a supreme being of the universe was reborn in the Douluo continent after his death. Was that why he had such an awesome martial soul? In all fairness, since there was a system and it gave him so many awesome things, it was normal for there to be strong people from other worlds. But no matter how much he thought about it, it was useless. Wang Feng directly used the light and darkness martial soul possession, intending to absorb the remaining dark demonic qi in Shiyu's body, or to re-inject energy comparable to the dark demonic qi into the white side of the universe martial soul to achieve a balance. After the martial soul possession, Wang Feng's form changed again, and he walked directly in front of Shiyu. Taking a closer look, this martial soul gave Wang Feng a feeling of vastness and grandeur. After all, the universe, even if it looked like a martial soul form, was naturally vast and magnificent. Compared to the singularity on the other side, it was more obscure and mysterious, as if it contained some terrifying energy. Wang Feng placed his palm on Shiyu's head, and the 7 purple origin patterns on his body glowed faintly. A majestic suction force sucked towards the singularity martial soul on the dark side of the yin-yang side. In an instant, Shiyu's figure seemed to appear, and the Tai Chi pattern formed by the yin-yang twin martial souls suddenly rotated. A huge suction force came from this pattern, and even the origin energy in Wang Feng's body was greatly attracted. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes. It seemed that the dark demonic qi inside could not be sucked out and had already been integrated. Forcibly sucking it out would also cause a backlash, and he could only inject energy from the other side. Wang Feng thought for a moment and slowly condensed his soul power into the white side of the universe martial soul. It did not need too much, just to achieve a balance with the other side. With the infusion of soul power from Wang Feng's body, coupled with some of his judgment origin energy, the rotating Tai Chi pattern stopped in a moment. Shiyu's fluctuating expression also slowly disappeared. The yin-yang Tai Chi pattern formed by these 2 martial souls also calmed down. A moment later, Wang Feng took a few steps back, looking at Shiyu with a rather solemn expression. He did not consume much of his own energy. It was just that when he injected his soul power and came into contact with this martial soul, he felt that it was somewhat compatible with his angel of light and dark martial soul. Speaking of which, the angel of light and dark martial soul is a mutation of the dark angel martial soul. But in fact, in the angel illusory world back then, it absorbed the power that represented the 6-winged angel god. In essence, it is also the fusion of 2 martial souls, and the angel of light and dark martial soul is also a symbol of the origin calamity, divine, king's origin energy. Who is the origin calamity, divine king? In the words of the God realm, he was the innate original spirit that was born at the beginning of the chaos and was born by the God of creation. In the Douluo divine world, he was the ultimate boss of the first echelon and the first existence in the world to cultivate to become a divine king. He cultivated the 7 great origin powers and stood above all living beings, and his achievements were supreme. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was the oldest existence in the Douluo universe besides the god of creation. Because of his relationship with the 5 great divine kings, Wang Feng also knew a little about the Douluo divine world. The origin of the Douluo divine world was a world formed by the power of the god of creation back then. As the only original spirit born by the god of creation, the origin calamity divine king himself was very special. The other 5 great divine kings were more or less related to the god of creation in the beginning. They were all indirectly created by the god of creation. Their strength had already reached the ceiling of the god realm, and they were the kind of existence that was about to transcend. They actually had a slight connection with Shi Yu's 2 martial souls. End of chapter. Chapter 1219. Damn, Shi Yu's universe martial soul. Could it be the Douluo universe? Wang Fengxin's heart suddenly jumped. At this time, Shi Yu also slowly opened her eyes. The yin and yang martial soul pattern also quickly merged into her body. 2 pairs of eyes intertwined in midair, seeming a bit strange. The atmosphere was very quiet. You saw it all? Shi Yu spoke first. Question mark. Wang Feng was a little puzzled, but still nodded. I saw it. Is it beautiful? Shi Yu sighed softly. It's beautiful. Wang Feng thought for a moment. Yes, it's beautiful, but it's empty beauty. Shi Yu shook her head. Martial souls are all empty. Wang Feng said, only when we soul masters give martial souls can this emptiness become lively. Well said. Shi Yu was stunned, and a smile appeared on her face. Unfortunately, my martial soul is too complicated. I've studied it for so many years, but I'm still not sure what it is. Although, I relied on 2 martial souls to become very strong. Wang Fengxin thought. Sure enough, Shi Yu herself was not very clear about her own martial soul. Of course, she must have studied it and researched many abilities. Shi Yu stood up, her whole body exuding a peaceful and flawless aura, very unique. Her body was also extraordinary. You were the one who attacked just now, right? Shi Yu's tone was a little helpless. I think you can see that it's because I have a soul connection with the soul demon. Only then did I know that my 2 martial souls were out of balance in my body. In fact, this is not the first time this has happened. Oh, Wang Fengxin's heart moved. Every time my soul power increases by 1 level, a similar situation will occur because I can't make these 2 martial souls improve at the same time and reach a clever balance, especially when bestowing soul rings. Unless I absorb 2 soul rings at the same time. But my body can't withstand the pressure of absorbing 2 soul rings at the same time. She shook her head. So, every time I increase my martial soul level, every time I absorb a soul ring, I will experience this state of imbalance. Once I enter this state, I will face the situation of my cultivation being destroyed at any time and the collision of the 2 martial souls. It was a good thing that I managed to pull through. It was only after I formed my yin-yang twin soul cores that this state temporarily disappeared. Shi Yu whispered. If that was the case, then it wasn't easy for Shi Yu to become a titled Douluo. It was equivalent to facing life and death at every level. To be able to cultivate to level 90, to say that one had to overcome 81 difficulties was already considered small number. But recently, it has started to appear again. It's not only because of the soul link, but also because of the dark demonic chi. At this point, Shi Yu stopped. Is it because the power produced by this martial spirit is too strong, and you can't control it? Wang Feng asked. Shi Yu was taken aback. She glanced at Wang Feng and slowly nodded. I didn't expect you to know that. Is it because your martial spirit is the same? Shi Yu glanced at Wang Feng. I can feel that your martial spirit is also a special kind of twin martial spirits, with 2 sides, light and dark, like an angel. But they were a whole. Furthermore, what you used just now should be the origin energy of your martial soul to balance out my yin-yang source martial soul, right? Yin-yang source, the name of your martial soul? Wang Feng asked. What a pity. She wasn't a transmigrator. Wang Fengxin suddenly felt a little regretful. He thought he could meet a fellow townsman. Yes, because this side represents yang and the other side represents yin. Both sides are very special. I can roughly understand the yang side, which has the meaning of the origin of chaos. But I really can't understand the other side, so I call it yin-yang source. Shi said generously. You must be joking. Although the name is vulgar, it has never been recorded. I can only name it myself. Shi's name was actually quite appropriate. Wang Fengxin thought, could this Shiyu really be a hidden big shot, the kind that hasn't awakened her memories? This martial soul, when you become a titled Dalu, the strength of this martial soul is beyond your control, so there will be problems. Wang Feng paused. You should have 2 soul rings now, both of which are 9 rings, right? Shiyu hesitated for a few seconds and nodded. That's normal. If Wang Feng added 2 soul rings to the Pango axe, his body wouldn't be able to bear it. Soul rings would put a burden on the soul master's body. Even if it was a life soul contract, it would be the same. If you let a rank 10 soul master absorb the soul ring of a million-year soul beast, he wouldn't be able to bear it. Different from ordinary soul masters absorbing soul rings, a life soul contract could allow this million-year soul beast to divide its power into many parts, which could still be reluctantly absorbed by the soul master. So in theory, a rank 10 soul master could also form a soul contract with a million-year soul beast. But in reality, it was impossible. There was only one reason. Unless it was someone like the Skydream Ice Worm or the Child of Destiny, a million-year soul beast wouldn't choose a rank 10 soul master. It would also be impossible for it to fancy him. On the other hand, the 1 Qi into 3 pure ones was an exceptional ability that could help Wang Feng solve this problem. His single martial soul was too strong, but his body couldn't bear the pressure of 3 martial souls. Opening a smuff was the best choice, and then combining the 3 martial souls into one. So logically speaking, Xie, being able to cultivate her yin and yang origin martial souls to the level of 9 rings was already exaggerated enough. Of course, her 2 martial souls couldn't be compared to the Chaos Green Lotus and Pango Axe. But they were about the same as the Angel of Light and Dark. It was just that the Angel of Light and Dark didn't split into 2 martial souls. It's temporarily stable now, but when the situation in the extreme north is resolved, I might be in the same situation again. Xie sighed. That day when you saved me in the snow, I wasn't injured by their rank 10 god rank or demon like those soul demons thought, but because I absorb a large amount of dark demonic chi and fought, causing my martial soul to be unbalanced, so I was seriously injured. You absorbed a part of the dark demonic chi for me, and I slowly recovered. I see. I didn't expect that not only can you absorb the dark demonic chi, but you also have a martial soul comparable to my yin-yang origin. You can release a powerful and special soul power to balance my yin-yang origin martial soul. Xie's eyes were filled with joy, and she said with a smile, after so many years, this is the first time I've encountered it. Of course, I won't accept your help for nothing. My yin-yang origin martial soul can gather the chi of heaven and earth at a speed dozens of times faster. It can stimulate powerful soul power, giving a soul master an unimaginable boost in soul power. Xie's tone suddenly slowed down. 1 day of cultivation is equivalent to a month of cultivation, and there won't be any side effects in building a foundation. Damn, a walking cheat. Wang Fengxin said. End of chapter. Chapter 1220. This was a genuine increase in cultivation speed. That was just too awesome. If Wang Feng had this kind of cultivation speed, even if his soul power was compressed back then, he would probably be a titled Dalu before the age of 20. But the extreme north is full of dark demonic chi. I can't absorb it for the time being. It will affect my martial soul, and I can't use it. Shiyu looked into the distance. When the problem here is solved, I can help you quickly increase your soul power and your soul-bonded beast. It should affect you, right? Wang Feng thought for a moment. Yes. She was silent for a moment. What effect? Wang Feng asked. She didn't speak. Wang Feng guessed that there might be a price to pay, or there might be some restrictions. Otherwise, this world would be full of titled Douluo long ago. It's time to leave here. Shiyu looked around. This time I've recovered to my peak state. My martial soul will be fine for the time being. We must solve the situation in the extreme north in one fell swoop. You have the confidence to deal with that 10-ring god rank war demon? Wang Feng asked. Hearing this, Shiyu smiled sweetly. Confidence? If it wasn't for my martial soul last time, he would have ceased to exist. There was a strong confidence in her tone. Wang Feng thought for a moment. It seemed to be true. After understanding Shiyu's martial soul, Wang Feng roughly estimated Shiyu's strength. She could even defeat a rank 100 god rank powerhouse. Wang Feng used the Pangu axe and the chaotic green lotus to fight a god king. Shiyu's dual martial soul had 9 soul rings, a total of 18 soul rings. Even a rank 100 god rank powerhouse was not her opponent. She was the true child of destiny. Moreover, Shiyu should have a powerful soul tool on her. And she was a soul engineer. Fighting a god rank powerhouse was really too easy. Then I'll rely on you, Wang Feng said with a smile. Shiyu smiled slightly, only to see her palm stroke the void. Her yin-yang origin martial soul directly rushed out and appeared in front of her. Open! Shiyu's eyes flashed with 2 rays of light at the same time. Only a scarlet soul ring flashed on her body. But Shiyu's fingertips gently pointed, and the yin-yang origin martial soul was split into 2 from middle. It was like a door opening. At the same time, it looked shocking and extremely mysterious. This is my 4th soul skill, yin-yang shuttle. Shiyu pointed at the door of light opened by the yin-yang source. It can locate 9 coordinates on the yin-yang source and teleport within a range of 100,000 miles. Wang Feng, are you trying to ascend to heaven? If it weren't for the fact that the big shot had been reborn, the 2nd generation of God, Wang Feng would never have believed that Shiyu herself had mutated such a martial soul. This soul skill isn't bad, Wang Feng said calmly. But it wasn't too bad. His chaotic green lotus martial soul's 4th soul skill, soul-devouring blood wings, allowed him to teleport within a range of tens of thousands of miles. However, he was moving at will, not using this kind of spatial positioning. The distance wasn't that long either. However, this method could only locate 9 locations. But the soul-devouring blood wings could move freely. Everyone has their own strengths. This kind of spatial positioning, as well as the teleportation door, could bring more people over. This advantage was very strong. It's actually very ordinary. Shiyu sighed. These coordinates can only be changed once every half a month. Secondly, the cost is very high, and we can't bring too many people in each time. And when it's opened, I can't use other soul skills. It's actually very powerful, Wang Feng said. This was a very strong means of escape and movement. Shiyu smiled and took the lead to walk in. After Wang Feng kept the ice with Qilin lured back into the soul domain, he also passed through the spatial door opened by the martial soul. And the moment he passed through, Wang Feng felt an extremely dense, dark demonic qi, and the perception of several powerful, evil soul beasts. The sky was unusually dark. He could clearly see the location of the extreme ice layer in the distance. This place was very close to the extreme ice layer. Obviously, it was the lair of the soul demons in the extreme north. Roar. Chaotic roars could be heard from all directions. Wait, what are you going to do? At this moment, Wang Feng suddenly asked. In front, Shiyu kept her yin-yang source martial soul. This place seemed to be a distance away from the lair, because Wang Feng could sense that the special energy fluctuation was far away. There are 2 ways, Shiyu pondered. First, directly attack and forcibly destroy that 10-ring soul demon. But the dark demonic qi here is too dense. A long battle will inevitably cause my martial soul to be unbalanced. But with your help, the problem of my martial soul being unbalanced will be greatly alleviated, and I can destroy all these soul demons in one go. It's just that there is a certain risk. There are at least 12 soul demons here, including the ones that returned that day. It's considered very powerful. This method mainly relied on Shiyu's powerful combat strength. But could do this. The premise was that the soul demons here didn't change. Once and for all, Wang Feng nodded. I have faith in you. Don't. Shiyu chuckled. Don't have faith in me. I think this method is not the best. After speaking, she looked at Wang Feng, her eyes flashing. Even if this method can destroy these soul demons, they are from the dark demon realm. We can't stop the dark demon realm from continuing to invade the Douluo world. Shiyu said slowly, it's a temporary solution. So, you want to use me to pretend to be a higher-up of the dark demon realm? Wang Feng said. Shiyu pursed her lips. It seems that you have thought of this long ago. You are indeed more far-sighted than me. Did you already think of this when you thought of using this method to lure away the soul demons? You want to use this identity to infiltrate the dark demon realm and find out more information? Wang Feng smiled, thinking, when did I think so much at that time? I was thinking of another plan. However, Shiyu's plan was rather interesting. This plan has high requirements, but once it succeeds, these soul demons and even the evil soul beasts can be directly dealt with. It's a temporary solution, Shiyu said softly. You're also in extreme danger. In the dark demon realm, once you are discovered, you will have no chance of survival. The dark demon realm is dangerous. I could try here first. Wang Feng looked around, a smile on his face. Seeing this smile, Shiyu understood. This man is dangerous no matter what. Shiyu thought, no wonder you said those words when you lured away those soul demons. Shiyu's eyes were a little more interested. It seemed that she was also very interested in this plan. It was very attractive to her. Chapter 12:21. Sort of. Wang Feng thought for a moment. The soul demons themselves come from the dark demon realm. In fact, you understand that if you want to defeat the enemy and a group of enemies at that, then it's not enough to rely on your own strength. You also need to understand the enemy, understand what this group of enemies is, how strong they are, where their weaknesses are, and so on. It's too troublesome to defeat them by ourselves. Now these soul demons are erupting in the Douluo world, and there are countless of them, and they are still coming out. With your strength alone, I don't know how long it will take. If you want to understand the enemy, then the best way is to integrate with them. That's right. Shiyu nodded repeatedly. Her eyes were rippling. However, it's too dangerous for you to do it alone. Shiyu pondered for a moment and said, this way, I can be by your side as you're, just like what I said that day I was caught by you. I'll be your captive, what do you think? How embarrassing, Wang Feng said seriously. He thought to himself, the number one expert of the continent is going to be my captive? Isn't that? Why do I feel that you don't seem to be embarrassed? She glanced at Wang Feng. Wang Feng. She snorted softly. The first time I met you, you used a fake name. It shows that you're keen on this way of pretending to be someone else. Combined with your own ability, you should have thought of this a long time ago, right? Especially when you pretended to be someone else last time. You said to those soul demons, this human woman is still for future use. You should want to use this method, right? Yes, that's what I thought. Wang Feng laughed a few times, not feeling embarrassed at all. His skin was thick to the extreme. At that time, Wang Feng didn't just say that he wanted to pretend to protect Shiyu, so he naturally had to say this. But in fact, there was such a hidden meaning in his heart. Question mark. Shiyu, what's wrong with this man? He actually admitted it just like that? For the first time, she was a little uneasy and glanced at Wang Feng angrily. You're honest. Shiyu was speechless. I thought you would say that because there was nothing else to say at that time. That's why I said that. It seems that you're not smart enough. Wang Feng smiled slightly. Do you think I really think that way? Hearing this, Shiyu was stunned. After pondering for a moment, he suddenly came to a realization. You want to keep me by your side and bring me into the Dark Devil world so that I can learn about the Dark Devil world? She took a deep breath. I'm sorry. I was standing from a woman's point of view and twisted your thoughts. I thought you had those dirty thoughts. Wang Feng smiled without saying anything. She was a very intelligent person. However, no matter how smart she was still a human and a woman. The only difference was that this woman was very rational. It was just that she would occasionally make mistakes that other women would make and misunderstand certain things. However, they would also react quickly. If you want to enter the Dark Devil world, you can only rely on my disguise. After all, you are a human. Wang Feng said, this is a very good attempt. Captive and slave were just identities. The soul demons regarded human beings as inferior life forms. Otherwise, even if you rely on my identity, you won't be able to enter the dark devil world. She nodded. Since she was the one who came up with the idea, it naturally wouldn't have any meaning. At this moment, their expressions changed slightly. Soul demons are coming. She whispered at once. Wang Feng nodded slightly and directly displayed the light and darkness martial spirit. His form changed drastically. She looked at him several times. Needless to say, this form of Wang Feng was indeed very special. How to put it? It was a kind of half-evil, half-saint aura. The evil and dark side was very compatible with the dark devil chi. However, the divine side of it was extremely bright. It was indeed similar to her yin-yang origin martial spirit. Vaguely, you could feel a special connection between them. In the distance, several soul demons seemed to fly in the air and landed not far in front of Wang Feng. They were the soul demons led by Luo. However, their expressions changed slightly. Your Highness, you're here. Luo transmitted his voice, but there was something strange in his voice. She moved slightly closer to Wang Feng. Wang Feng's body shook, his sword-like eyebrows raised, and his whole body exuded a domineering aura. His cold eyes swept across, and his mental voice was as majestic as the sea, full of supreme divine power. Why, is there a problem? Haven't you conquered that place yet? A bunch of good-for-nothings. Wang Feng looked at the extreme ice layer in the distance. Luo did not answer, but looked at Shiyu beside Wang Feng and frowned. Your Highness, why haven't you killed this human woman? Moreover, why is her aura so powerful? Bastard, are you questioning me? Wang Feng said coldly. After saying that, Wang Feng created a void thunder in his hand, and the sky was instantly filled with dark clouds. The huge thunder tribulation carried a more terrifying pressure than before, and it pressed down from the sky. She seemed to have forgotten the sky, and there was something strange in the depths of her eyes. This power was not simple. However, thinking of the other party's martial spirit, Shiyu understood. I wouldn't dare. Luo also glanced at the sky, and a trace of fear flashed in his eyes. However, this human woman is extremely powerful. Why do you keep her by your side? Isn't this tantamount to raising a tiger and inviting calamity? Smack! Wang Feng slapped Luo away. Idiot! Wang Feng said indifferently, this human is extremely powerful to you, but to me, she's just an ant in my palm. Do you think that there will be a disaster if I raise an ant? Moreover, I'm quite interested in humans. She has become my captive, and I need to study her properly. Why would the Dark Demon realm send an idiot like you here if you don't even understand this point? Captive? Luo staggered to his feet and looked at Shiyu in shock. Impossible. This human is so arrogant. How could she submit to us? How is this possible? The highly intelligent soul demon had fought with Shiyu before, and naturally, he could guess who she was. This kind of supreme expert of a human race, a leader-level existence, dared to come alone and almost killed the Dark Demon Chief. Such a powerful human, who knows how hard her bones were. It was likely that she wouldn't submit to them even if she died. Luo was obviously not stupid, and he felt that this was too absurd. He originally thought that this mysterious lord was going to use this human's life for some experiment. He didn't expect that this human woman would submit to him. Wang Feng's expression was indifferent, and he only glanced at Shiyu indifferently. His tall and burly body looked down at Shiyu, and his palm gently pinched Shiyu's round chin, as if he was casually playing with her. Shiyu's expression was respectful, without the slightest bit of humiliation. Her eyes were slightly closed, and she looked like she was waiting to be slaughtered. It was as if she had been completely tamed. Seeing this scene, Luo was immediately shocked. Is this the means of a demon god? P.S. There may only be 2 updates today. End of chapter. Chapter 12:22. Luo was shocked, and so were the other soul demons. Wang Feng found that the strange look in Luo's eyes had disappeared and was replaced by shock. He knew that Luo and the three soul demons must have found some loopholes after returning and were somewhat suspicious of his identity. This act seemed to have weakened this suspicion. Wang Feng had to admire Shiyu's brilliance in acting. She didn't show too much expression. Just by closing her eyes, she gave people the feeling that even the strongest experts had to submit to her. For an expert of her level, even if she was captured, she had to conform to her identity. Let that dark demon chief come to see me in person, Wang Feng said majestically. I'll do it myself when the time comes. All of you can go back to the dark demon realm. He withdrew his hand. Shiyu stood quietly at the side with a calm and indifferent expression. This Luo hesitated for a moment and glanced at Shiyu hesitantly. Your Honor, if she's really your captive, why doesn't she have a demonic seal you gave her? At this time, a soul demon walked out, looked at Shiyu, and snorted coldly. This human woman is so strong. If she doesn't have the demonic seal, won't she be more cunning if she pretends to submit? In my opinion, it's better to leave the demonic seal and let her sacrifice her soul. This is the safest way. Hearing this, Wang Fengxin's heart skipped a beat. Every single one of these soul demons was an idiot. In the memories of soul demons, the demonic seal was a very high-level skill. It was usually a kind of seal bestowed by a high-rank soul demon to a servant or follower. It represented a subordinate relationship. Of course, Wang Feng didn't know any demonic seal soul skills. Even a 10-ring soul demon wouldn't know such a skill. Only a high-rank soul demon would know it. According to Wang Feng's calculation, those high-rank soul demons should be equivalent to the gods of the divine world, the kind that were first or second gods. Just like when Tang San and the others obtained the inheritance of gods, they also had a unique god seal on their foreheads. The demonic seal was similar, but it had great restrictions. It was not a seal of power inheritance, but more of a seal of soul binding. However, Wang Feng's cold eyes flashed like lightning, and he suddenly uttered a decadent ancient sound. Death. The 8 notes of primal chaos, which contain the power of judgment, symbolize the power to judge life and death. In the blink of an eye, it entered the soul demon's soul. The next moment, the soul demon let out a blood-curdling scream as his huge body collapsed to the ground like a puddle of mud. His entire body twitched uncontrollably. How dare you? Do I need you to teach me how to do it? Wang Feng stared coldly at the soul demon. What he had just displayed was the death character of the 8 notes of primal chaos. Combined with the power of the origin of judgment, the soul demon was caught completely off guard when he communicated with it mentally. In the blink of an eye, Zhang Xian was struck, and his soul was shaken to the point of dissipating. Luo's pupils immediately shrank. It was another mysterious ancient sound. Last time, he had directly controlled the entire human race. This time, a soul demon was killed in an instant. Just now, even his soul felt the aura of death. Don't forget your identities, Wang Feng said indifferently. Is it because I haven't returned to the dark demon realm for too long that you've forgotten that you're just a bunch of lowly ants in the dark demon realm? Did being born in this world give you the illusion that you're also strong? Hearing this, Luo felt a chill in his heart. That was indeed the case. In the Dark Demon Realm's army, they were just ants, cannon fodder to charge. However, being born in this world, they appear to be very powerful, able to suppress the most powerful experts in this world. Naturally, they couldn't help but feel a little more carefree and arrogant in their hearts, causing their perception to quietly change slightly. This subtle change in their hearts might not even be noticed by them. In addition, this supreme being of the Dark Demon Realm, who was rumored to have disappeared for many years, was really unbelievable. Under such changes, they couldn't help but have some misconceptions in their hearts. Moreover, in the Dark Demon Realm, the demon god sat at the top and controlled the 18 paths of sequence. He was the ruler of billions of living beings in the Dark Demon Realm. His position was too high. Perhaps in the depths of their hearts, they didn't believe that he was still alive. I'm the one who subdued this person. How I want to deal with him is my business. Since when is it up to you ants to point fingers? Wang Feng looked into the distance. She's my slave. Even if she's a human, her position will be higher than yours in the future. If you've forgotten the rules of the Dark Demon Realm, I can teach you all again. However, the price is your lives. Hearing this, Luo and the other soul demons' hearts suddenly trembled. I'll say it again. Ask that Dark Demon Elder to come see me. Wang Feng placed his hands behind his back. An enormous aura involuntarily spread out. This caused Luo's heart to tremble even more. The Dark Demon Elder is now preparing a plan to take down that core area in one fell swoop and control more evil soul beasts. Luo hurriedly said, "It's a very critical moment now." "Oh, plan? What plan?" Wang Feng asked as his heart stirred. "Please follow me. I'll bring you there and you'll know." Luo replied respectfully. "Lead the way." Wang Feng waved his hand. Luo walked in front and led the way. Afterward, Wang Feng quickly communicated with Shi Yu through mental voice transmission. He told her what happened just now. Although you put on a good show just now, these soul demons are very smart. I can't believe they've doubted you again and again. Shi Yu was a little surprised. It seems that there must be a loophole in this plan. After all, if you want to pretend to be someone from the Dark Demon Realm, you'll be seen through if you're not careful. But your acting is quite good. Same to you. By the way, how did you kill that soul demon with just a word? I can't even do that. Is it a kind of spiritual soul skill? Shi Yu asked. But a spiritual soul skill can't kill a soul demon so easily. It's different. Wang Feng explained. I just used this soul demon to communicate with me through mental voice transmission. The other party's spirit was unguarded, so I used this move to kill him in one fell swoop. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it. That's still very powerful. What plan is that Dark Demon Elder preparing to attack the Extreme Ice Layer? Shi Yu's voice was a little solemn. The Extreme Ice Layer also has a powerful barrier, similar to the Four Absolutes, Manifestation Valley, and even stronger. The soul guidance device inside is also installed by me. It won't be broken in a short period of time. I'm not sure. We'll know when we get there. If something happens and this method doesn't work, I can only take action and kill them all, Shi Yu said. Of course. Chapter 1223. The method of pretending to be a soul demon was just an attempt. Moro was very fast. In just a moment, he brought Wang Feng to an open area with special demonic patterns carved on the ground. It looked like a high platform. There were pitch-black pillars all around, making the place look eerie. In the center, a shadow shrouded in pitch-black mist was roaring. A huge aura was emitted from the shadow. A strange soul beast that looked only a few meters long was floating in the air. The back and abdomen of the soul beast were two colors. The top was blue-black, and the abdomen was white. From afar, it looked like a small koan, but its head was similar to a shark's. There were a few tiger teeth on its cheeks, and it looked quite cute. Its eyes were closed, as if it was in pain. Among soul beasts, a body of 3 to 4 meters was not small, but to him, it felt very small. At first glance, Wang Feng felt a little familiar, especially after seeing the details of this soul beast body. Wang Feng was even more familiar with it. It looked a little like a cowardly koan. It also looked a little like a whale shark. Could it be the child of these two guys? Wang Feng was shocked. The more Wang Feng looked at it, the more he thought it was. After 10,000 years, it was normal for them to have children. After all, they must be together every day. It would be illogical if they didn't have offspring. This soul beast had the majestic aura of a cowardly koan's body and the fierce and ferocious side of a whale shark. It seemed to be a combination of the two. But why would their offspring be here? Wang Feng looked at the shadow. Dark Demon Chief Black Ing, the utmost being that I mentioned to you before who is yet to fall has arrived. Moro walked up to the high platform and said in a respectful tone, The shadow's body couldn't be seen, only a vague black mist. It seemed to have noticed Shi Yu's aura at the first moment. It couldn't help but roar. It should be some kind of ancient demon language. Wang Feng couldn't understand it, but he guessed that it was because he had fought with Shi Yu before. He was about to give birth to his true body, but I scattered it. Now, his aura has become stronger. The strength of these soul demons is increasing too fast. Shiyu immediately transmitted her voice. They're probably shouting at you. Wang Feng said. These soul demons should be recovering their strength, not increasing it. Their original strength was not fully unlocked at the first moment when they arrived in this world. The eggs of those evil soul beasts usually took many years to hatch. But this soul beast, that's the descendant of 2 of the 8 overlords of the extreme north, the Dark North Sovereign Devil Queen and the 10,000 Demon Whale Shark. It was a brand new type of soul beast. It's a long story, but I have a rough idea of how to fight a deity-level demon. Shiyu's tone was unusually heavy. As far as I know, the Dark North Emperor Devil Queen has also become an evil soul beast. This divine rank war demon may use its life as a price to threaten the other overlords of the extreme ice layer, even directly breaking the unity within the polar ice layer. She knew a lot about the Arctic layer. What she said was the same as what Wang Feng was thinking. This little soul beast was indeed the descendant of a cowardly Kuin and a whale shark. However, the cowardly Kuin had also become an evil soul beast. This was something that Wang Feng had never expected. One had to know that among Odonosuke's 7, cowardly Kuin was the strongest. Compared to Qing Qing, it was hard to say. The higher the cultivation, the stronger the cowardly Kuin. He had already become an evil soul beast. It seemed that the extreme ice layer had indeed experienced a great shock. Combined with what the demon abyss in the absolute ice forbidden land had said, the extreme ice layer had also given birth to a soul beast. Could it be the cowardly Kuin? Or was there another reason? Don't be presumptuous. Looking at the deity-level war demon roaring, Wang Feng raised his black eyes and said coldly, "She is now my slave. You're just a mere 10-ring war demon. You have no right to be presumptuous with her. Previously, she was a human. You were incompetent and destroyed by her. Now that she is a soul demon, someone that I have subdued, you dare to be presumptuous?" The meaning of the words was transmitted through his mind, and the black shadow slowly calmed down. The dark demon world once had the 10 great demon gods. Later, one of them fell in the god world and was conferred the title of peerless demon hero by the great demon king of the dark demon world. I didn't expect you to still be alive. It's really incredible. This dark demon elder named He Ing let out a seemingly respectful, but actually somewhat strange sound. However, I'm just a mere 10-ring war demon. I don't know the power of a demon god. Presumably, with the means of a demon god like you, it's not impossible that you didn't fall. Previously, I didn't believe Mo Luo's order. But now, your aura is indeed unique. I wonder if your honor can explain to me what's the matter with the wings on your back? Dark Demon Chief He Ing jumped into shadow, and his voice became more and more strange. As far as I know, Dai Demon God was originally a dark angel of the god world. Later, he came to the dark demon world and was conferred the power of the great demon king of the dark demon world. He is independent of the 9 great demon gods and is one of the 10 great demon gods. He possesses the supreme power of darkness. Why is there such a bright aura on your body? As expected of a 10-ring deity level war demon, a regular army of the dark demon world. He still knew a little more. But that was all. This loophole was within Wang Feng's expectations, so he had already prepared for it. Ignorant. Wang Feng laughed coldly. A strong ant is still an ant after all. Your knowledge is limited. Let me tell you, I didn't fall in the god world back then. Instead, I swallowed the power of the god of light in the god world and merged the light and darkness into one, turning it into the strongest chaotic power. It has the power to create a world and destroy it. It has the divine power comparable to the king of hell and even surpasses him. Anyway, he didn't have to pay for bragging. Wang Feng immediately started bragging. Moreover, the dark demon world received the news that the god of darkness was killed. But this news was released by the god world. It was impossible for anyone in the dark demon world to know about the fall of the dark angel god. As for the exact location of his fall, the dark demon world wouldn't know. One must know that the dark angel god killed his way back to the god world alone. He originally thought that his power was enough to sweep across the God world, but he still underestimated the God World Committee. And now that Wang Feng was bragging, he concluded that He Ying definitely didn't know about it. As for the great demon king of hell, Wang Feng didn't care about who he was. But from his tone, he must be the most powerful one in the dark demon world. Because of this memory, these few words also appeared in Mo Yin and Mo Yuan's memories, but it was very rare. All these years, I have just been absorbing and sleeping. Now, I have almost completely merged these two powers, which is why I have my current divine body. When the time comes, I can destroy the God world at will. Even the dark demon world is just a toy to me. Wang Feng's tone was extremely arrogant, because according to the 5 great divine kings, the dark angel god had such a personality. Otherwise, he wouldn't have betrayed the God world in order to obtain power. Indeed, Wang Feng's boast was mixed with both truth and falsehood. It shocked this dark demon king, He Ying, to the point that he couldn't say a word. Chapter 1224. The dark demon chief, He Ying, was indeed shocked. With his position in the dark demon realm army, he was no longer a pure cannon fodder and could be considered a regular combat force of the dark demon realm. Naturally, he was exposed to more power forms and all kinds of information. At this moment, listening to these words, especially feeling the 2 mixed auras on the other party and the power of the origin contained, he couldn't help but feel shocked. Could it be that the news the dark demon realm received back then was wrong? He Ying couldn't help but be shocked. If so, it was an epic event that overturned an era of the dark demon realm. Not only did this demon god not fall in the divine world, but he also swallowed the light angel god of the divine world. The fusion of 2 different origins would definitely make demon god Dai even more powerful. The more he thought, the more terrified He Ying felt. Back then, demon god Dai fought the divine world alone and didn't die. This was the most terrifying part. Just that, she looked at Wang Feng and then looked at the shadow of the pattern. She couldn't help but be curious about what the 2 were talking about. Why was this 10-ring god-level war demon stunned all of a sudden? From the situation of the hissing just now, it was obvious that he was very suspicious of them. Looks like you're really demon god Dai. After a while, He Ying's tone changed. It was full of shock and awe. I didn't expect that not only did you not die after fighting the divine world alone, you could even go further. It should have been false news released by the divine world back then. This is really the fortune of the dark demon realm. Wang Feng snorted. Then, his eyes flashed as he looked at the little beast floating beside him. As the leader of the dark demon tribe, you've led more than 10 9-ringed soul demons to attack this tiny place, yet you still haven't conquered it. Looks like this year's dark demon realm army is getting weaker and weaker. Hearing this, He Ying's pattern suddenly solidified. It quickly solidified into a large black soul demon. It was also more than 3 meters tall, but it was missing 3 fangs on its back. Instead, its head was slightly protruding. Compared to those 9-ring soul demons, it looked slightly more normal. He Ying first looked at Shiyu and said slowly, "Previously, it was this human powerhouse who obstructed me and attacked me when I wasn't paying attention. However, since she has become your honor's servant, I don't have the right to bicker with her. It's just that I didn't expect that such a powerful human being, who would rather die than submit, would actually be willing to become your honor's servant. This is truly admirable. Lord Dai, even after so long, your methods still amaze us." He Ying also boasted for a while. Some were real, some were fake. Cut the crap. I heard that you're planning something right now, and you're about to break through the last region of this tiny place. Let's hear it. Wang Feng stared at him coldly. Also, what is this soul beast? Why is there such a weak soul beast? Then I'll tell you. He Ying looked at the soul beast with a confident expression. The birth of this soul beast is closely related to me. To be more precise, I was a parasite of this beast. I walked out of that region, which is the extreme ice layer of this frozen world, and used it to recover my body. This beast is the descendant of 2 powerful soul beasts in the extreme ice layer. It was born strong and has an extraordinary bloodline. I absorbed the power of his bloodline and combined it with the energy of heaven and earth that I absorbed over a long period of time to be born. It's just that I had no way to completely absorb the power of this little beast bloodline, because it contains 3 different bloodline powers. Until I was seriously injured by your honor's servant, this powerful human being, unexpectedly, I completely absorbed it. So not only did I recover from my injuries, I even became stronger. The 3 bloodline powers in this little beast body are all extraordinary. They are the most powerful bloodlines in this world, so they're naturally beneficial to me. Pei said slowly. Wang Feng felt a chill in his heart. He had already sentenced this dog to death. The offspring of the cowardly Kuan and the whale shark did indeed have 3 bloodlines. The cowardly Kuan alone had 2 top-notch bloodlines. One was the bloodline of the demonic Emperor Kuan, and the other was the dark north bloodline that could devour the energy of heaven and earth. This bloodline was a variant of the demonic Emperor Kuan and was very rare. Just like the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, the Emperor Scorpion was the title of the most powerful Ice Jade Scorpion. After cultivating for 100,000 years, it would also derive special abilities and bloodlines. It was naturally the same for the whale shark. This little Kuan shark could contain 3 bloodlines, which meant that its future achievements would definitely be above the cowardly Kuan and the whale shark. But it was absorbed. This meant that this little Kuan shark had an ordinary bloodline, and it was extremely weak. It was obvious that it was taken over by Hei Ying not long after it was born. It could be said that it was very tragic. Although it still had its current size, it didn't know how long it could live after losing its bloodline power. Originally, this little thing should have died. But later, I thought about it, and it would be best if I could make use of it. Hei Ying continued. That extreme ice layer has a special protective device, and there are a few powerful soul beasts inside. And this little thing's father also walked out alone in order to save it. But he's not you, Your Honor, Dai. After that guy walked out, he was quickly infected by the soul demon and turned into us. Only occasionally would his consciousness be clear for a while. Every time this happened, I used this little thing's life to threaten him. At this point, Hei Ying sneered. Everything in this world has spirit. They value their offspring so much, unlike our dark demon realm, where newborn little demons are thrown into the black demon abyss and their life and death are up to the heavens. Only the little demons who can walk out of the black demon abyss have the qualifications to become soul demons. As parents, they don't have much affection for their children. If they die, then they die, and there's no possibility of any threat. These soul beasts, like the humans here, pay particular attention to emotions. They who are not strong in the first place have so many flaws and weaknesses. It's no wonder that we were sent to conquer and rule this continent. If it weren't for the orders from above, I wouldn't be interested in this world. Hei Ying's tone was cold and ruthless. In fact, Wang Feng knew that what he said was the rules of the Dark Demon Realm. The Dark Demon Realm was a very cruel world. It was not without reason that these soul demons were so powerful. Wang Feng was able to kill them by using the power of the Origin of Judgment. And Shi Yu, as the top expert of this world and the #1 expert of the continent, was also able to suppress these soul demons. One could imagine that world was completely different from the Douluo world. Using the emotions of these soul beasts is their biggest flaw, Hei Ying said indifferently. Hei Ying said, I only need this demonic Emperor Kuan to return to the extreme ice layer. If the soul beast in the extreme ice layer doesn't let this demonic Emperor Kuan return, I'll kill this little thing in front of him. Those soul beasts that are holed up in the extreme ice layer will inevitably split due to the great turmoil that will occur at this time. If this demonic Emperor Kuan enters the extreme ice layer, he has already become an evil soul beast and one of us. He will inevitably go on a killing spree in the extreme ice layer, which will also cause internal divisions. Chapter 1225. Even if the soul beasts in the extreme ice layer hardened their hearts and killed this demonic Emperor Kuan directly, they would still be divided internally. When I kill this little thing, they will definitely be agitated and unable to bear this insult. They will definitely come out directly. At that time, we can catch them all in one fell swoop. He Ying's plan was similar to Shi Yu's speculation. It was all about this little Kuan shark, making Qing Qing and the others unable to bear this insult. And with the strength of these soul demons, Qing Qing and the others might not be a match for them, even if they worked together. Especially with the lack of a cowardly Kuan. The most important thing was that the outside was infected by the dark demonic qi of these soul demons. Fighting in this environment, they were very likely to be invaded by the dark demonic qi and turn into evil soul beasts. Even Shi would be affected, and the consequences would be very serious. As long as we can arouse the anger of these soul beasts, they, who are blinded by hatred, are not worth mentioning. He Ying smiled contemptuously. These humans and soul beasts are easily swayed by emotions. In this case, they will lose their judgment of many things, and their combat power will be greatly reduced. In addition, this place is no longer their main battlefield. As long as they are not in the extreme ice layer, they have no chance of winning. After dealing with this place, I will unite with the other dark demon chiefs. And at most a few months, the humans of this world will submit to the feet of our dark demon realm. Good plan. After listening, Wang Feng said indifferently. In all fairness, the weakness that He Ying mentioned was the fatal weakness of humans. They would be swayed by emotions. No matter how strong a powerhouse was, they would be swayed by emotions. He too would. This was indeed a weakness. To be able to make use of this, He Ying's intelligence was already extremely high. Your honor is too kind, He Ying said modestly. Now that your honor is in this world, what I have done is just a small matter. Since your honor has appeared, then we could just kill our way in. There is no need for such a plan. I believe that with your honor's strength, any protective measures in the extreme ice layer can be broken with a flick of your finger. Those soul beasts can be destroyed with a flick of your finger. This He Ying was obviously testing again, but he couldn't refute it casually, because you couldn't say that he was probing. What he said was very normal and logical. He even praised and praised. This dark demon chief was not only extremely strong, but also intelligent. Of course, Wang Feng said indifferently, to me, the living beings of this world are nothing but ants. However, I'm very interested in these humans and soul beasts. Destroying them is not as effective as subduing them. Wang Feng was slightly interested in the dark devil world. Then I'll prostrate myself before your excellency when the time comes, Blacking said respectfully. Wang Feng did not answer. Instead, he walked in front of the small shark. A body of 3 to 4 meters was actually very small for someone like him who had inherited the demonic Emperor Kuan. Under normal circumstances, even if it was just born, this Kuan shark would be at least 10 meters long. This was because after the demonic Emperor Kuan reached the age of 100,000 years, it would easily reach over 100 meters. The same was true for the 10,000 demon whale shark. How could it give birth to offspring that were only a few meters long? The loss of its bloodline power caused the small Kuan shark to slowly degenerate. When Wang Feng walked in front of this small Kuan shark, he could feel that this small Kuan shark still had a will in its eyes. His eyes were filled with anger and coldness. It was as if he wanted to eat He Ying. Rua. When the small Kuan shark saw Wang Feng walking over, it suddenly straightened its body, opened its mouth, and let out a tender roar. Wang Feng's eyes flashed slightly. He placed his palm on the small Kuan shark. In the blink of an eye, the small Kuan shark calmed down and gradually closed its eyes. This little thing's will is quite tenacious. This is quite similar to the little demons of our dark devil world. He Ying smiled faintly. But if it leaves the black demon abyss, it won't be able to walk out. Where's its father? Wang Feng asked. I sent 3 soul demons to control him, He Ying replied. Since the plan has changed, how do you want to deal with it, Your Excellency? Kill it, of course, Wang Feng said faintly. It's a pity to kill it, He Ying said quickly. That demonic Emperor Kuan has already become one of us. Although Your Excellency doesn't care for this combat strength, I think it's still useful to keep it. Wang Fengxin sneered. In that case, let's take a look. I want to see what else it can do, Wang Feng said casually. Okay. Haing nodded slightly and glanced at Luo. He quickly led Wang Feng and Shi Yu in another direction. Along the way, Wang Feng quickly told Shi Yu about his conversation with Haing. After listening, Shi Yu fell silent. I didn't expect the situation to be like this. Shi Yu looked back at the small Kuan shark. This little thing, I naturally have a way to save it, Wang Feng said telepathically. But, from what you said just now, it seems that there are soul demons like this dark devil elder and other soul beast forests based on the connections between these soul demons. We should be able to get more information. So, our plan to disguise as spies has succeeded for the time being? Shi Yu said calmly. When can we kill these soul demons? Sooner or later. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes. When we enter the extreme north, it will be the time of their death. Do you have any way to enter the extreme ice layer and let those soul beasts know that we are spies? Otherwise, we will inevitably be exposed. Then, all of this will be meaningless, Shi Yu asked. The overlords of the extreme ice layer all know me. Unless I don't appear. But if I don't appear, they won't come out at will. This dark devil elder is so cunning that he pushed this matter to you. If you refuse, it will be easy to arouse suspicion. Although the relationship was not complicated, she was very clear about the difficulties. The extreme ice layer, for me, is easy to enter. As for being exposed, it doesn't exist. But, with your strength, it should be difficult to kill this Haing in a short time, right? It's not possible in a short time. At least, I can't kill him before he discovers us. She used telepathic tone, was a little angry. Unless I can kill him directly. Kill him directly. That was unrealistic. If Wang Feng's main body was here, killing a 10-ring soul demon would be a piece of cake. But now is not the time, and he couldn't do it. Unless all the godly king seals were opened, even if it was only level 30, he could kill it instantly. I only have one way. While killing him, I won't let him discover our identity. Wang Feng said slowly. She was stunned and fell silent. Very soon, Haing brought Wang Feng to an enormous pit. In the pit, there was a huge beast. After 10,000 years, Wang Feng also saw the cowardly Kuan here. Chapter 1226. 10,000 years. It wasn't long for a soul beast's long lifespan. However, when time was given meaning, even a year was long, let alone 10,000 years. These 10,000 years passed very slowly for the cowardly Kuan. To Wang Feng, it passed very quickly. What appeared in front of him was an enormous beast that was at least 300 meters long. It looked like a small island. Any creature above the Douluo level would appear insignificant in front of him. 10,000 years ago, when the cowardly Kuan became a 100,000-year soul beast, its body was more than 100 meters long. 10,000 years later, its body had more than doubled, and Kuan was the largest species in the world. With such a change, it was enough to prove that the cowardly Kuan's cultivation had increased to at least 500,000 years. It was a huge improvement. However, its dark blue body was surrounded by streaks of dark, demonic chi. Its cold and fierce aura was enough to make titled Dalu tremble in fear. Among the evil soul beasts that we have infected, this is the strongest one. Haing pointed to the lake-like body in front of him. A creature of this level is considered rare in the dark demon realm. After being changed by the dark demonic chi, its strength has become even stronger. It's just harder to control. Fortunately, its son is in my hands, and it's enough to make it obey. In addition, its soul has been corroded by the dark demonic chi for a long time, and its soul is very weak now. It will be a great help to us when the time comes. Haing smiled ferociously. So it's a pity to kill it. Wang Feng watched calmly. The demonic Emperor Kuan's eyes were completely black, and its soul was weak. There is only a strong sense of ferocity because of the corrosion of the dark demonic chi. At this moment, whether it was Haing, the other soul demons, or Wang Feng, they were all the same. Pity? Wang Feng slowly walked in front of the demonic Emperor Kuan. It's indeed not an ordinary creature, Wang Feng replied. He didn't expect the first cowardly Kuan he saw after not seeing it for so long to be like this. It must have come out of the extreme ice layer because of the small Koan shark and wanted to save it. The cowardly and troublesome cowardly Koan had come out of the extreme ice layer alone, and this made Wang Feng sigh. The cowardly Koan's situation was not optimistic, but fortunately, its soul was still there. It was just that there was too much dark demonic qi in its body, and it was overly exhausted from the expedition, which led to its current state and was thus controlled by Heiying. In that case, I'll spare his life. Wang Feng placed his hands on the head of the sovereign devil Koan. An enormous amount of mind power entered the demonic Emperor Koan's consciousness. However, in an instant, the cowardly Koan's soul would be awakened. He was extremely weak. As its soul trembled, a bewildered voice came from the cowardly Koan's sea of consciousness. A furious roar came from the mouth of the demonic sovereign Koan. As its huge body struggled slightly, it seemed as if the world was shaking. It gave people a kind of extreme shock. In Wang Feng's current state of recultivation, even his mental power was recultivated. In addition, his martial soul had undergone a drastic change. Cowardly Koan's soul was currently weak and had lost its basic ability to distinguish. It could only vaguely sense a familiar aura, but he couldn't tell. Lord Dai, don't try to control it with your spiritual power. This demonic Emperor Koan is extremely tenacious. If we didn't threaten it with its son, even if its soul was destroyed, it wouldn't be so easily controlled. If you try to control it with your spiritual power, it will only cause its own death. Heiying reminded. He was afraid that Wang Feng would accidentally kill the demonic Emperor Koan if he was not satisfied. Wang Feng was silent for a moment. He withdrew his mental power. Instead, he hummed a strange tune. The tune was euphoric and full of high spirits. It could make people's blood boil and feel refreshed. They wanted to release everything for it. However, as Wang Feng hummed the tune softly, the demonic Emperor Koan instantly quieted down. Oh, Heiying was stunned. This was a very ordinary tune. It didn't even have the slightest bit of soul power or mental power. It could actually calm the demonic Emperor Koan in an instant. Dark Demon Chief Heiying. This Lord Dai has used this method a few times. Previously, he could make this human supreme expert submit to him with just a casual sentence. Forgive me for being blunt, but even those upper-ranked soul demons can't have such a method. Mo Luo hurriedly and carefully transmitted his voice to Heiying. This is the method of a demon god. Heiying stared at Wang Feng and thought to himself, is he really that demon god Dai? Do I need to report this news to the other dark demon chiefs at once, and then pass it to the dark demon world? If the other party was a fake, not to mention the fact that he had lied about the news, the appearance of the other party in the dark demon world would definitely be welcomed by thousands of demons. Once something else happened, even if he died 10,000 times, it wouldn't be enough. It might even bring disaster to the dark demon world. The other dark demon chiefs might also suffer a huge blow. He had to be cautious and prudent. However, Heiying and the others naturally didn't know that the tune Wang Feng was humming was the special tune that the demonic Emperor Koan had composed in the spirit cave of nihility. Boss, I want to give my heart to you. Only Wang Feng really knew. With this, Wang Feng could slightly awaken the demonic Emperor Koan's soul without using his mental power. But Heiying wouldn't notice. Heiying couldn't understand this. Shiyu also couldn't understand. You've suffered. Wang Feng patted the demonic Emperor Koan's head and lightly leaped up, muttering, "Don't worry, your boss will avenge you." A long and melodious cry came from the demonic Emperor Koan's mouth. "Get up and head to the extreme ice layer." Wang Feng suddenly shouted. He spoke in the language of the Douluo continent. It's tamed just like that? Heiying looked on in astonishment. In the past, he had to use that small demonic Emperor Koan to threaten it in order to force this demonic Emperor Koan to do things for them. This just humming a few times and it's done? Are you kidding me? Are the methods of the demonic gods so powerful? Heiying was shocked. He really hadn't seen the demonic gods in action. That level of existence was so powerful that they couldn't imagine in their lifetime. Come up, you guys follow me. Wang Feng glanced at Shiyu indifferently, then glanced at He Ying and transmitted his voice. This matter shouldn't be delayed. Don't waste my time. She was curious and flew on top of the demonic Emperor Kun. 2 words, vast. It felt like flat ground. It was like riding a small island and taking off, directly flying towards the extreme ice layer in the distance. Lord Dai is too powerful. With his strength, he should be able to destroy this world with a flick of his finger, right? Moro said in shock. Moreover, he said that his 2 powers haven't completely fused, which means that he hasn't reached the peak state yet. If he reaches the peak state, I dare not imagine. Dark Demon Leader He Ying, if we can take the lead to express our loyalty, even if we can't become slaves, we will definitely regret it in the future in the Dark Demon realm and become a true upper-class soul demon. Chapter 1227. He Ying twitched and said in a deep voice, "It's good if that's the case, but don't forget that we have to pledge our loyalty to him and offer our souls to the demon god first. Only then will we be qualified to obtain all these. That's nothing. It's just a soul, let alone a high-rank soul demon. Even a low-rank soul demon is many times better than us," Moro said disapprovingly. "I know you must be suspicious, Dark Demon Chieftain He Ying." After Wang Feng appeared, Moro's respect for Dark Demon Chieftain He Ying plummeted. This was within He Ying's expectation. "Nonsense," He Ying said coldly. "The timing of this demon god Dai's appearance is too ingenious. I keep feeling that something is not right. Although his strength is powerful and mysterious, we can't confirm many of his details. We can't even confirm many of their statements in detail. It can be said that they have perfectly evaded the cognition of us soul demons, making it impossible for us to make accurate judgments. But it's still a little strange. If he can really break the layer of ice and easily control the life and death of all those soul beasts, let's talk about it again. For Demon God Dai, this is just a matter of a snap of his fingers," Moro said confidently. "Anyway, we want to take this opportunity to show our loyalty first. When Demon God Dai returns to the Dark Demon realm in the future, I don't know how many high-rank soul demons will crawl and beg to become his slaves. The Lord of Hell will definitely put them in an important position." Many other soul demons shared Mo Luo's thoughts. He Ying was silent. This was indeed an opportunity. If the other party is really Demon God Dai, he might not take a fancy to all of you. Even 10-ring battle demons like us are like ants to him. He Ying said indifferently, "Dark Demon Chieftain, you're being too suspicious. You've already made Demon God Dai a little dissatisfied with your probing. If you don't seize this opportunity, you might regret being demoted to a demon slave when you return to the Dark Demon realm. Otherwise, Demon God Dai will kill you directly if he's unhappy. At that time, you won't even have the chance to regret." Moro laughed. He Ying glanced at him coldly. What he said made sense. The group of soul demons followed Wang Feng to the layer of ice with different thoughts. "You know this demon King Kun?" She could not help but ask on the Kun's back. "There are many music scores in the spirit cave of extreme darkness." Wang Feng glanced at Shiyu and transmitted. These music scores were written by soul beasts, and they were written by the demonic sovereign Kun because they have his signature. I hummed those tunes in order to awaken his soul. I only tried once, and I succeeded. Music score. Shiyu's eyes flashed with confusion. "That's right. He likes music," Wang Feng said with a hint of reminiscence. "So that's how it is." She was silent for a moment. "Although I know these hegemons, I'm only acquainted with them and am not familiar with them. I didn't think that a 100,000-year soul beast would have similar hobbies to humans. If all living beings are equally intelligent, what's the point of having the same hobbies?" Wang Feng said calmly. "Well said." Shiyu nodded slightly. "Many of your views are in line with mine. It's a pity that if I weren't a titled Douluo, I might have tried to become a soul contractor. Based on my premonition over the past few days, this soul renderer profession will definitely replace soul masters in the future and become the mainstream of the world. But what do you plan to do with the extreme ice layer?" Wang Feng didn't say anything. She didn't ask any more questions and only looked ahead. That icy blue light barrier seemed to be connected to heaven and earth. One could vaguely see the situation inside through the ice barrier. This light barrier of the extreme ice layer is a large-scale Class 9 defensive soul tool called the Xuanwu Imperial City. In a stationary soul tool, attack and defense are equal. There are a total of 5 formation cores in 5 positions. She said slowly, Class 9 soul tools are all extraordinary. Furthermore, this Xuanwu Imperial City is made from countless rare materials. Of course, they were all taken from the extreme north and were made by me personally. This is a defensive soul tool on the level of a national city. In the Sun Moon Empire, there's a similar Xuanwu Imperial City. Although it is also Class 9, its defensive power is inferior to this one. This is because this defensive soul tool can only unleash its greatest power in the extreme ice layer. This defensive barrier requires the combined soul power of countless soul beasts to form. The more soul beasts there are, and the higher their cultivations, the stronger its defensive power. In addition to the geographical advantage here, this defensive barrier can be said to be indestructible. You can only leave, not enter. The most important thing is, even if you really break it, those soul beasts will definitely come out in full force and counterattack. We have become undercover soul demons. If we really have to fight these soul beasts, it won't be too good. She couldn't think of a perfect solution to solve this problem. She could vaguely feel that these soul demons were about to reach the limit of Wang Feng's disguise. When the time came, they would definitely submit to him. But here, this is the extreme ice layer. Heiying flew to Wang Feng's side. I wonder what wonderful method Lord Dai has. Even I can't break this barrier. Wang Feng's expression was calm. Break it, Wang Feng said indifferently. It's just a barrier. Why do I have to do it myself? You don't plan to do it? Heiying was surprised. Then what do you plan to do? A true powerhouse uses his aura to suppress and convince others. Wang Feng looked at them coldly. Under his aura, everything will be destroyed. I am the dignified demon god Dai. Why do I have to do it myself? I just need to open my mouth, and ants will only submit. Let's wait and see. Heiying was taken aback and said slowly. He felt a little uncomfortable. There were many powerful soul beasts in the extreme ice layer. There were even soul beasts stronger than this demonic Emperor Kun. Soul beasts of more than 100,000 years were in the double digits, and there were countless other soul beasts. Moreover, these soul beasts had tough tempers, and most importantly, they had their own leaders. Their spiritual souls couldn't be destroyed at all. Even he couldn't do it. At this time, Wang Feng slowly walked to the front, stepped on the void, and suddenly let out a faint voice. Open sesame. This strange language, even Shiyu couldn't understand it, just like before. The soul demons led by Heiying thought that this was a special language of a demon god. They still didn't feel any spiritual power fluctuations, which was extremely strange. The air was very quiet. Wang Feng shouted, then turned around without looking back and landed on the cowardly Kun. Heiying looked over there in confusion. It seemed that nothing had happened. Shiyu's pupils suddenly shrank. But in the next moment, the ice-blue light barrier that connected heaven and earth automatically separated from the center. Seeing this scene, they suddenly widened their eyes. Countless soul beasts emerged from the ground like a swarm of locusts. P.S. It's almost withered. It will start to stand up tomorrow. Chapter 1228. The shield opened, and a huge group of soul beasts rushed out. Accompanied by a vast expanse of white cold air, they raged in the sky. The soul beasts were dozens of meters long, like ancient beasts of the mountains and seas. They looked very shocking. The demonic Emperor Kun let out a low roar, as if responding. Wang Feng saw many familiar figures. He also saw many unfamiliar figures, including Odonisuchus, Shun Bing, and the others. There were many other soul beasts that were unfamiliar. Many 100,000-year soul beasts had been born in the past 10,000 years. Heiying and the other soul demons, who were standing not far from Wang Feng, instantly became vigilant. These soul beasts could not all be infected into evil soul beasts in a short time. Once they fought, they would not be able to gain the upper hand in a short time. These were not ordinary soul beasts. They were gathered in the extreme ice layer, and they were the top soul beasts. Most of them were 10,000-year soul beasts. However, since the shield was opened, it meant that these soul beasts were just a matter of waving his hand for the Die Demon God. Thinking of this, Haiying was shocked and relieved at the same time. It seemed that he should be able to confirm that the other party was the Die Demon God. Wang Feng walked forward alone. At this time, he was in the state of martial soul possession, and his appearance had changed greatly. But obviously, Qing and the others could easily recognize him. All of them were silent and looked very excited. Qing was about to speak. Wang Feng suddenly waved his hand and interrupted. "Are you willing to submit to me?" As soon as he said that, Haiying was stunned. Could it be that the Die Demon God wanted to subdue these soul beasts without making a move? Was it possible? The soul demons were full of question marks. Even if it was a demon god, it was impossible to subdue so many soul beasts at once, right? Moreover, these soul beasts had a leader. They were not a plate of loose sand. How could they submit so easily? If it was one or two soul beasts, it would be fine, but there were so many of them. Unless he could change their will at will. The soul demons looked at Wang Feng. These soul beasts were their enemies. They would probably attack in the next second, right? The air fell into silence for a moment. At this moment, Qing moved. The remaining 7 soul demons, led by her, half knelt down one after another. Especially Qing. Her body was colorful and full of charm, and the phoenix plume on her head lowered. "I'm willing." Meanwhile, the remaining soul beasts didn't know why, but they all lowered their arrogant heads after the 8 of them showed such a stance. After 10,000 years of change, the remaining 8 overlords, led by Qing, had absolute authority in the extreme north. Even in the entire soul beast circle, he was extremely famous. Not only in the extreme north, but in the rest of the soul beast forest, and even in the sea, they were famous. Wang Feng smiled his heart. Qing had grown up quite a bit and had become smarter. He really had the demeanor of a leader. Speaking of which, during these 10,000 years, Qing and the others weren't like him, spending almost all of their time in seclusion. Even if he only used 1,000 years to manage the extreme north, he would still make great progress. Not to mention 10,000 years. This place was different from the deity world. 10,000 years was 10,000 years. Qing didn't answer. Perhaps she didn't know the reason, but she had absolute trust in him. Even if she was now the leader of the extreme north, she still chose to trust him immediately. It was the same for the other 7. However, all of this, in the eyes of Haiying and the other soul demons, it was a different scene. The power of a demon god is as terrifying as... Mora took a deep breath and murmured, "This is a demon god. Could it be that he can change the rules of heaven and earth with a snap of his fingers? Once he says it, there's no way to defy him. What kind of terrifying power is this?" Haiying's lips moved. Looking at this scene, he was also incomparably shocked. Did he really submit so easily? Haiying quivered. It seemed that this demon god, Dai, couldn't be fake at all. With such means, he could make tens of thousands of soul beasts submit with just a word. Moreover, these soul beasts' wills were extremely strong and tenacious. This was simply harder than killing them. Only a true demon god would be able to do this with just a few words. The chance to become a high-rank soul demon is here. Haiying was very excited. Just like what Moro said before, to be associated with a demon god was simply something that they didn't dare to imagine. Previously, Haiying had always been doubtful in his heart. After I offer my soul first, I'll spread this news. Otherwise, if those dark demon chiefs know, they'll definitely come here immediately and squeeze me out. As long as I offer my soul, I'll be a subordinate of Demon God Dai in the future. A mere dark demon chief is nothing. Haiying glanced at the other 9-ringed soul demons. These trash didn't even have the qualifications to be a subordinate of Demon God Dai. Unfortunately, they were the first to discover Demon God Dai. This could also be considered a great contribution. However, as a fellow soul demon, he wouldn't go so far as to kill them for this little contribution. As long as he became a subordinate of demon god Dai in the future and worked hard to perform, he would be more useful. On the contrary, these 9-ring soul demons were completely useless. They could only fight for a name. Thinking of this, Haing walked over, half knelt down, and said respectfully, "Lord Dai, you're the demon god Tianwei. It seems that this world is just a matter of a snap of your fingers for you, who has awakened. May I know when your highness plans to return to the dark demon world?" He Ying's words were actually probing. Although this world is weak, it's one of the most powerful worlds under the control of the divine realm. I'm quite interested. Many of the gods in the Douluo committee come from this world. Naturally, I won't return immediately. I'll stay for a few days, Wang Feng said faintly. Hearing this, Haing was overjoyed. If this was the case, then he had a chance. Behind him, Shiyu's eyes flickered. She stared at Wang Feng's back as if she knew something. Knowing Wang Feng's true identity, she obviously wouldn't admit that this was the work of a demon god. How could the 8 overlords, led by Emperor Qing, trust and submit to him so easily? Even if Emperor Qing saw through something, it was impossible. The previous demonic Emperor Kuan could be explained by the music composed by the demonic Emperor Kuan. But how could this scene be explained? She didn't know, but from the eyes of these soul demons, she knew that the plan should be successful. As the saying goes, showing one's divinity in front of people would inevitably gain great trust and respect. These soul demons were the same. In addition, Wang Feng was acting as a high-level member of the dark demon world. In that case, these soul demons must have been completely convinced by the series of events that had transpired. And all this just depended on Wang Feng's slightly moving mouth. Then, if these soul demons are sensible, they should show their loyalty. She thought to herself, in this case, it's possible to get more information. I can even control the lives of these soul demons in my hands. I can easily kill them without exposing my identity. She had also made a soul link with the soul demons. She knew that those high-ranking soul demons could decide the life and death of those servants who offered their souls at will. As long as these soul demons offered their souls to Wang Feng could kill them all with a thought without any risk of being exposed. This was the most efficient and perfect plan to kill this dark demon chief. Sure enough, Shi saw Haing take the lead and walk over, kneeling at Wang Feng's feet with an extremely respectful expression. Then, the rest of the soul demons rushed to kneel beside Wang Feng. A burst of gibberish came out of their mouths. She didn't quite understand, but based on what she understood, it should be some kind of oath. What'll he do? She thought for a few seconds. The next moment, she saw Wang Feng kick He Ying and the other soul demons away. He seemed to be telling them to get lost. Is he playing hard to get? She thought to herself. With Wang Feng's identity, it was certainly impossible for him to easily accept these soul demons as servants. If he accepted them directly, it would easily arouse suspicion. Sure enough, after He Ying and the other soul demons were kicked away, they continued to roll over to Wang Feng without any regard for their dignity. Then, they began to grumble beside him. He has an excellent grasp of the psychology of these soul demons. She praised his acting skills in her heart. It looked like the first time he pretended to be a spy, but his acting skills were simply impeccable. 3 times at most. That's enough, she thought. He Ying and the other soul demons knelt here, but Wang Feng kicked them away again. Get lost. The few of you aren't qualified to be my servants. I'm not interested in low-level soul demons like you, said Yi Futian with a smirk. Wang Feng kicked the soul demons away. He kicked them away like a rubber ball. Even so, the soul demons were still shameless enough to roll over to him. Although demon god Dai kicked me away, he didn't kill me. Otherwise, he might kick a big hole in this world with just a casual kick. As long as I persist, there is a great chance that Dai will accept my soul and make me his servant. After He Ying confirmed that the other party was a real demon god, he quickly turned into a bootlicker and rolled over frantically. The dark demon leader is too shameless. What did he act like this when he had doubts in his heart? Luo thought to himself, but he also understood what it meant to be a demon god. However, After being kicked away again and again, Wang Feng became impatient. Wang Feng was getting impatient. You are all too weak, and your potential is very poor. You really don't have the qualifications to be my servants. I have no interest in you at all. Don't come forward again. Just now, I didn't kill you because you are also creatures of the Dark Demon realm. If you come over again, you won't be able to roll anymore with just one kick. He Ying's heart trembled when he heard that. Sure enough, it was not that easy to become the servant of Dai. As if thinking of something, He Ying gritted his teeth and said, Lord Dai, I can tell you something that you will definitely be very interested in. I hope you can know. Cut the crap. Tell me about it. If I am interested, I will consider it. Wang Fengxin was moved. He Ying's face lit up. Then, he took out a black ball of light. You probably don't know about this because this is a special device that was born in the Dark Demon realm in recent years. It is called the Memory Demon Core. You also know that our Dark Demon realm uses the Soul Link Demon skill to quickly obtain the memories and knowledge of other worlds by reading memories. But in order to prevent important information of our Dark Demon realm from being leaked, many memories will be stored in this Memory Demon Core. He Ying's face was a little heavy. We soul demons don't believe in our own spiritual consciousness and memories. We think these are very dangerous. Once they are read by others, it will cause great losses. Therefore, we will record many important memories and things in the Memory Demon Core. When we need to recall, we will take a look. Then, we will remember clearly. We soul demons only need to know our purpose. You don't need to know anything else. This Memory Demon Core is connected to our life. With a thought, it will disappear into the air without any trace. Even a demon god can't detect it. Wang Feng looked at the Memory Demon Core in He Ying's hand. His mind was suddenly enlightened. No wonder a soul skill like Soul Link had such a big drawback. But in fact, after Wang Feng had Soul Link with 2 soul demons in a row, his knowledge of the Dark Demon realm was still pitifully little. He didn't even have a detailed division of strength. For example, he only had an impression of who the 9 great demon gods were. He didn't even have a name in his memory. It was as if many memories had disappeared into thin air. Previously, Wang Feng only thought that these soul demons were the cannon fodder of the Dark Demon realm, so it should be normal that he didn't know. But the more he thought about it, the stranger he felt. Even if they were cannon fodder, the 9 great demon gods were the top powerhouses of the Dark Demon realm. Just like in the Douluo world, even an ordinary person could name each of the 12 heavenly kings of the Martial Spirit Palace. He didn't just know one of the 12 heavenly kings, but didn't even know who they were. How cunning, to store these important memories directly in here. Wang Fengxin was speechless. And in my memory, as a Dark Demon Chief, I am different from the other Dark Demon Chiefs. When I came here, I undoubtedly heard a very terrifying rumor. But I can't be sure about this rumor, and I won't leak it out. He Ying continued. This rumor was stripped from my memory and sealed in this Memory Demon Core. What rumor? Wang Feng asked faintly. I don't know. The details of the rumor are in this Memory Demon Core. He Ying laughed embarrassedly. Your Excellency, you can directly read this Memory Demon Core, but there are other memories I've placed in it. I think Your Excellency will only be interested in this news. After saying that, He Ying presented the Memory Demon Core. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes. He originally just wanted to bait these soul demons, but he didn't expect to get this. Memory Demon Cores didn't exist in the memories of the soul demons. Generally, these memories would only be awakened when they touched this Memory Demon Core. The Soul Link didn't have any information about these Memory Demon Cores. It had an extremely high degree of concealment. When Wang Feng used his spiritual power to enter this Memory Demon Core, he found that the internal structure of this Memory Demon Core was even more exquisite. This kind of exquisiteness was a kind of mechanical exquisiteness. The interior of this Memory Demon Core was composed of many special components and was not a pure energy body. There was even a special soul password lock inside. If one spiritual power didn't enter, the memories inside would be instantly destroyed as long as one tried to unlock the password lock. This was an extremely complicated thing, many times more complicated than soul guidance technology. Even with Wang Feng's knowledge, it was impossible for him to fully understand it in a short time. Fortunately, the internal soul password lock had been unlocked by He Ying in advance. Wang Feng could read the contents inside at will. A huge flow of information gushed out from inside. Wang Feng finally knew a lot of information about the Dark Demon Realm. For example, who were the other 5 Dark Demon Chiefs, and where were they born? What was the specific method of communication between soul demons? How to connect? What was the situation in the Dark Demon Realm? This memory demon core contained all the important information that He Ying knew. He also knew the rumor that He Ying mentioned. Logically speaking, when Wang Feng heard this rumor, he was also shocked. He was silent for a long time. "Your Excellency?" He Ying asked cautiously. "The rumor is too exaggerated and fake." Wang Feng said indifferently, "You are just a lowly dark demon chief. It's completely meaningless for you to hear this rumor." He Ying's expression changed slightly. "I remember that when I heard this rumor, it was the high-ranking soul demon general who let us come to this world and secretly told us. He deceived us into being the first batch of soul demons to conquer the world and had unparalleled achievements. He secretly told us. Otherwise, why would we come to such a world when we were fine in the Dark Demon Realm? This place doesn't improve us much. In fact, they didn't come here voluntarily at first, especially the Dark Demon Chief. Those 9-ring soul demons were still fine. But as a Dark Demon Chief, he was already a regular member of the Dark Demon Army. No regular army would come to this godforsaken world from the Dark Demon Realm for any reason. The Dark Demon Realm had Dark Demon Chi, which was the most suitable place for them to live and cultivate. No need to explain. Although this rumor is basically false, it has intrigued me. However, it has piqued my interest. Wang Feng said indifferently, "Hand over your souls. I'm a man of my word, although you all are very weak." Hearing this, He Ying was overjoyed. He could finally become the servant of this demon god. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes slightly and glanced at these soul demons. The Dark Demon Realm wanted to invade and conquer the Douluo world for a very simple purpose. They just wanted to deal with the God Realm. In a disguised way, they wanted to weaken the power of the God Realm. Because most of the gods in the God Realm had to rely on the powerhouses of other worlds to inherit the God position. Once the God position was lost and an heir couldn't be found, then the strength of the God Realm would be greatly reduced. Therefore, the Dark Demon Realm invaded the Douluo world. In Wang Feng's opinion, there was only one purpose, and that was to deal with the God Realm. Unfortunately, the Douluo world had the additional rules of the God Realm. It was difficult for the high-end combat power of the Dark Demon Realm to break through these rules and come to the Douluo world. That was why they used this method to send some cannon fodder to the Douluo world. Because in their opinion, these cannon fodder of the Dark Demon Realm were enough to destroy the Douluo world. They are just ants in the war between the two worlds. Wang Fengxin sighed. A war involving the God Realm. For a mid-level world like the Douluo world, it seemed a little small. Offering one soul was a very special way of showing loyalty in the Dark Demon Realm. Most of the forces or creatures in the Dark Demon Realm didn't trust each other. In such a cruel world, it was full of countless lies. Any feelings, kindness, kinship, and so on were not worthy of trust. Only by offering one soul to the other party and showing loyalty could it be considered trust. It was the same for wanting to join any force. There were no shortcuts or second methods. This was a two-way street. When you controlled the other party's life, you were also controlled by the other party. This was in a situation where both sides were equal. In an unequal situation, for a mere war demon to become the servant of a demon god, only one side needed to offer their soul. But even so, it was a fantasy in the Dark Demon Realm. It was basically impossible. Therefore, when He Ying and the other soul demons were shameless and were kicked away by Wang Feng without any dignity, they still insisted. With He Ying as the leader, all the other soul demons chanted a special ancient language at the first moment. Then, Wang Feng could see a wisp of black pearls flying out from their bodies and into Wang Feng's hand. This was their soul crystal core. It wasn't a physical body, but a half illusory and half real black pearl. It was like the water droplets condensed by Wang Feng's mental power. The moment he held these black pearls, Wang Feng knew that the lives of these soul demons were under his control. From now on, I will be your honor's servant. Even if we die, we are willing to do so. He Ying's expression was somewhat uncontrollable. Then go to hell, Wang Feng said indifferently. He Ying looked at Wang Feng with a face full of question marks and laughed awkwardly. Your honor must be joking. I'm not joking, Wang Feng said indifferently. Now I want all of you to die. Your honor, did we make a big mistake? He Ying only thought that this temperamental demon god was joking with them. That's right, Wang Feng said slowly. Why? Do you not mean what you said just now? He Ying was somewhat hesitant. Was it because of his suspicion just now that this demon god still had a knot in his heart? But it wasn't to the extent of death, was it? Moreover, if that was the case, wouldn't this demon god have all died just now? Your honor must be joking with us. If you wanted us to die, we wouldn't have survived just now. If you just moved a little, we would have turned into ashes long ago. Why do you need us to offer our souls? Are you just toying with us? He Ying replied with a forced smile. Wang Feng smiled. He directly crushed several of these black soul pearls. In an instant, several soul demons were reduced to ashes before they could even cry out. They died very peacefully. Whoosh! The remaining soul demons were immediately dumbfounded on the spot. I, demon god, can play with you if I want to. Why can't I? Wang Feng laughed out loud. P.S. I forgot to divide the chapter. This chapter has more than 6,000 words. Chapter 1229. He still had no intention of exposing himself. Your Excellency, He Ying looked a little frightened, but he vaguely thought of a terrible possibility. Could it be that the other party was not die? But if that wasn't the case, who else but a demon god would be able to pull off such a mysterious trick? Was it an expert from the deity realm? But if it was an expert from the deity realm, they would have attacked the soul demons as soon as they saw them. Why would they need to pretend to be a soul demon? Impossible. This was impossible. Puff, puff, puff. Wang Feng then gently crushed a few more black soul pearls. Bang, bang, bang. The soul demons behind He Ying dissipated in midair one after another. These black soul pearls contained part of their souls. Once destroyed, there was no chance of survival, especially 9-ringed soul demons. If they were high-ranking soul demons, they could still live for a while even if the black soul pearls they offered were broken. But they could not. The low muffled sound rang in He Ying's ears like a bell. Boundless coldness eroded his whole body. The most terrible thing was that he did not know why the other party would do this. He could not understand at all. Why was that? Why? He Ying looked behind him. There were no more soul demons. They were talking about just now, but in the blink of an eye, they dissipated like smoke. You are too ugly. I don't like you, said Wang Feng. This did not seem to have any intention of revealing anything at all. Or was that really the case? He Ying felt dizzy. He felt as if a huge force was tearing his body apart. He knew that his black soul pearls were also broken. As the leader of the dark demon race, he died a little slower. Pain and unwillingness caused him to let out an extremely angry roar. Death was not so bad. Living in the dark demon realm, every soul demon would expect that they would die. They were not afraid of death. But the point was, it was really a *king foolish death. Was this a demon god? Temperamental, treating life as dust, high and mighty, playing with the world? Even at the last moment, He Ying, who still could not figure it out, stared at Dai. He could not even deduce any useful information from the other party's languid expression. Boom! A halo of light spread in midair. When these soul demons died, the powerful energy contained in their bodies would disperse into heaven and earth. However, this energy was formed through their cultivation of the dark devil chi. It was even more terrifying than the dark devil chi. Ice Qilin, Wang Feng sensed for a moment, and after confirming that none of the soul demons were still alive, he immediately summoned Qilin, Lord Isa. You and I will absorb this energy together. As his soul rings lit up, Lin Lord Isimu's enormous body appeared in front of many soul beasts. Wang Feng and He Ying's communication was all transmitted through mind. They did not know what happened. The evil soul beast that had invaded the extreme north vanished from the world in an instant. They were still a little dazed. Qing Qing and the others were dumbfounded. That feeling was as if he had already won by lying down. Qilin Lord Bingmu's appearance shocked them even more. It's Lin Monarch Bingmu. At this moment, the Ice Emperor flew up from below. She was the only one who was guarding the Snow Empress when the protective barrier was opened, and she didn't appear. Until, Ice Emperor, I thought you weren't planning to come up? Qing Qing looked at her curiously. I sensed a special aura, so I came up. However, I didn't expect it to be Lin Monarch Bingmu. Didn't he become Wang Feng's soul ring? Speaking of Wang Feng, are you sure it's him? The Ice Emperor hesitated for a moment. She looked at the tall and sturdy man with 14 pairs of light wings on his back. He looked very different from a human being. Definitely. Qing Qing nodded and said, Master has 3 martial souls. One of them is an angel-type martial soul. You might not know this, but we know it very well. The most important thing is that sentence. When I was young, I heard Master use that language to communicate with me, and he even told me some stories. Oh, what stories? The Ice Emperor asked subconsciously. Soul shattering the heavens, the 1,001 nights, earth shrouding. Why haven't I heard you mention it before? The Ice Emperor was curious. How can I tell others what Master told the 3 of us? If you want to hear it, you can ask Master to tell you, Qing Qing said. I don't care. The Ice Emperor shook her scorpion tail. So, you're so sure that Wang Feng is back? You opened the barrier directly? The Ice Emperor said again, Azure Emperor, you're too careless. If someone pretended to be Wang Feng, it would cause a huge mistake. How can there be so many ifs? The Azure Emperor was puzzled. Look, not only did it not cause a huge mistake, but those soul demons were also easily dealt with by Master. Look, Shiyu is back too, and so is Kuan Kuan. Speaking of Kuan Kuan, when those soul demons were all dead and dissipated, the whale shark flew over immediately. When it flew to Kuan Kuan, it couldn't help but cry. Kuan, what's wrong? Where's Cub? Kuan hadn't recovered, so it couldn't answer her. Well, he hasn't recovered yet. She jumped up from Kuan Kuan's back and flew in the air. She smiled faintly and said, However, he has a way to recover. As for that little Kuan shark, at this point, Shiyu fell silent. As long as Kuan Kuan is still here, it's fine. The whale shark cried. It's better than both of them being gone. By the way, Douluo, why are you with us? Wait, you. The whale shark suddenly looked at Wang Feng in the air, then looked at Shiyu and fell silent. Brother Kuan should be fine. At this time, the rest of the soul beasts came over. The one who spoke was Shunbing. His current body was only inferior to the whale shark and Kuan Kuan's. He was close to 100 meters tall and usually stayed where he was. He was like a small ice mountain. His cultivation was also very high, with more than 600,000 years of cultivation. As these soul beasts came over one after another, Shiyu frowned slightly and then relaxed. We haven't seen each other for 10,000 years, but Boss is still as handsome as ever. Odontosuchus flapped his wings. His body looked round from the front, but in fact it was very big. But his voice was still as sloppy as before. Odontosuchus flew in front of Kuan Kuan and patted him with his front paw. He sighed and said, Brother Kuan, you're so lucky. You rushed out alone. You didn't save your son and almost lost your life. How are you going to let Mother Whale live in the future? These days, there's no one who can compare to you. Just as he finished speaking, the otaku crocodile was sent flying by another blackwater crocodile that flew over. What are you talking about? The blackwater crocodile glared at Odontosuchus. Her body was about the same size as Odontosuchus, but she was actually a little bigger. This meant that her cultivation was higher. However, both of them only had 500,000 years of cultivation. Brother Kuan is still conscious, but his soul is not clear enough. He must have absorbed too much dark demonic energy. Fortunately, those soul demons are all dead, and the mark in Brother Cohen's soul has disappeared. He should be able to recover after some rest. At this time, the Iron Fox's voice slowly sounded. He was the first to understand Cohen's situation. Boss is still handsome after 10,000 years. Shui Jiao also flew over. Although there was no smile in his tone, he was much more relaxed. His body shape, regardless of shape or size, was similar to Xinbing's. They were both 100 meters long. This showed that Shui Jiao had worked very hard to cultivate over the years. As a result, he was still single now. Even Qing often felt troubled by Shui Jiao's single situation. After all, it was a rare race. Reproduction was the most important thing. The land of extreme north could develop to this point. It was useless to rely on cultivation alone. Furthermore, these outstanding and powerful soul beasts had to be reproduced and reproduced. As for the others, they were all in pairs. There was no need to worry. Only Shui Jiao, who had a straightforward and honest personality, could not be found. Damn, Shui Jiao, you usually don't even say a few good words to Sister Qing. Now that boss is back, you flatter him? Odontosukis flew over from afar. He was a little speechless. Brother Crocodile, do you mean that boss is not handsome? Shui Jiao wondered. Odontosukis was taken aback and hurriedly said, Of course not. Of course boss is handsome. Then am I not telling the truth? What does it have to do with flattery? Shui Jiao asked. In human culture, flattery is to curry favor with others. Saying unrealistic flattering words. Is there a problem? Odontosukis thought for a long time and felt that Shui Jiao's words were right. Odontosukis was a little depressed. Shui Jiao, this guy, looked simple and honest, but in fact he was very clever. It was not that he was very clever, but it was that kind of indescribable feeling. Shiyu on the side looked at the few soul beasts bickering and smiled. She was sometimes surprised that these soul beasts could have such a relationship, because these 8 overlords were the most powerful in the land of extreme north. They were obviously competitors, but in fact they were best friends, and their relationship was very good. In contrast, even the 12 heavenly kings of the Federation's central martial spirit palace seemed to have a good relationship, but in reality, they were fighting with their lives. Every battle for the title of Heavenly King would cause a lot of trouble. Shiyu sighed slightly in her heart. The ecological model of the land of extreme north. She originally thought that it was formed with Emperor Qing as the leader. But in fact, it should be because of that person, right? Douluo, can you tell us what's going on? Qing, an ice emperor, flew over. Shiyu nodded slightly. As the leader of the 12 heavenly kings of the Central Martial Spirit Palace, she was the strongest person in the Federation. Qing's title of Heavenly King 9 Phoenix was bestowed by her. At the same time, she naturally maintained contact with the land of extreme north. After all, the land of extreme north was a friendly territory of the Federation. Even the Sun Moon Empire couldn't do that. She thought for a moment, then briefly explained what happened. She felt that Wang Feng should not have exposed his identity until the end, so she did not reveal too much about Wang Feng's disguise. She only said that Wang Feng disguised himself as a soul demon and used various methods to gain the trust of the heavenly kings. Then, he obtained the souls of these soul demons and silently killed them without any effort. Although it was easy to say, Shiyu knew how difficult it was. However, looking back now, it seemed that Wang Feng had already planned it. Something's not right. Ice Emperor whispered. Why is his strength so much weaker? Although these soul demons are powerful, it should be easy for him to destroy them with his strength, right? Moreover, wasn't he sealed and cultivating? 10,000 years have passed. Could it be that the more he cultivated, the more he regressed? Has he become weaker? Does he still need to disguise himself as a soul demon? Qing pondered for a moment, but did not give a direct answer. Instead, she smiled and said, Ice Emperor, if that's really the case, what do you plan to do? Hearing this, Ice Emperor was stunned and snorted. Since he has become weaker, he is no longer qualified to protect sister. When sister wakes up, I will protect her. Qing Emperor smiled helplessly. Ice Emperor, why do you always have thoughts about your sister that you shouldn't have? Ice Emperor blushed. What do you mean by thoughts that I shouldn't have? Ice Emperor said angrily. I don't know how many years have passed since my relationship with sister. This is normal, okay? It's Wang Feng. It's Wang Feng who took sister away from me. Every time I think about what I will do if I don't have sister in the future, I don't know what to do. That's simple. Qing Emperor thought for a moment. You can also marry Master. In this way, you can be with your sister. What do you think of this proposal? Ice Emperor's whole body turned red. What? What nonsense are you spouting? What? What nonsense is this? No one knew what he was talking about. Nonsense. You. How can you say such things? Ice Emperor's scorpion tail swayed violently. Her ice crystal-colored body, including the pale yellow gem, glowed red as if it was emitting waves of heat. Isn't it good? Qing Emperor looked at her in surprise. You can be with your sister in a proper way. Qing Emperor, we have known each other for so many years. We have fought side by side countless times. Do you really want to push me into a pit of fire? Ice Emperor looked at her angrily. Wang Feng. Wang Feng was still absorbing the dark demonic energy produced by the dissipating soul demons. Fortunately, he didn't hear this. Pit of fire. Master is a treasure. Qing Emperor was puzzled. Are you still not satisfied with pushing you into a treasure? What's more, she was only married to the Master in name. You don't need to do anything with Master. In this way, when your sister leaves with Master, you can follow her without any qualms. Isn't it perfect? Ice Emperor was stunned. Qing Emperor's words seemed to make sense if she only married Master in name. No, there seemed to be a problem. Ice Emperor looked at Qing Emperor in confusion. She must be tricking me. By the way, may I ask, Nine Phoenix, the boss and master you mentioned, should be referring to him, right? Qiyu suddenly asked. Qing and Ice Emperor reacted immediately. Sorry, I forgot to introduce him to you. Qing Emperor glanced at Wang Feng in midair. There was only one expression in her eyes, an expression of admiration. This is my master, the boss of these people. He is also the real person of the white-robed Pope-Tif statue in your central martial spirit palace. He is called Wang Feng. He also has many other strange titles. P.S. This chapter is not divided. For 1,000 words, it may be a little expensive. A total of 10,000 words is equivalent to 5 chapters in the past. The new chapters will be added slowly. End of chapter. Chapter 1230. The energy that burst out when more than a dozen soul demons dissipated was enormous. Wang Feng's body was like a filter. He was absorbing the energy and giving it to Long Xie. Qilin Lord Bing Mu could absorb it himself. Naturally, Wang Feng was not needed. His cultivation speed is fast. If I go to the Dark Demon Realm, I'll become a titled Douluo in no time. Wang Fengxin sighed. The predecessor of the Angels of Light and Dark was the Dark Angel. This thing came from the Dai Demon God, and was the supreme power of the Dark Demon Realm. No wonder the Dark Angel was so troublesome when it was awakened. But now, he was absorbing the energy released by the soul demons like a fish in water. His soul power level soared. After Wang Feng filtered the energy, Long Xie quickly absorbed it. Among them, the Dark Demon Elder, He Ying's energy, was the most powerful. The Dark Demon Elder was a 10-ringed God rank powerhouse. In the God Realm, he would be a rank 100 powerhouse who had just entered the God Realm. Although there was a big gap between him and a god, and there was no such thing as a god, his cultivation was solid. In the air, Wang Feng was like a black cocoon. The energy released by the soul demons surged into Wang Feng's body. This energy was very special. For now, only Wang Feng could filter and absorb it. It took less than half an hour to go from rank 31 to rank 35. The 7 purple origin patterns on his body glowed brightly, as if they were charged. The remaining 4 God King sealing laws were faintly discernible around Wang Feng. As Wang Feng's aura grew stronger, the seals gradually weakened. At rank 40, not only could he awaken a second origin power, but he could also unlock another God King seal. At rank 40, Wang Feng was not afraid of the Douluo. It might be a little difficult to defeat him, but a draw should not be a problem. However, it would be difficult to kill a soul demon like the Dark Demon Elder. At the same time, Qilin Lord Bing Mu's cultivation was also increasing rapidly. Longxia's absorption was slower because he relied on the energy Wang Feng filtered and transferred to him. It was much slower than Qilin Lord Bing Mu's direct absorption. At this moment below, it's really him? When Qing Qing finished speaking, she was stunned for a long time. She turned around and looked at the figure in the air. She couldn't help but feel astonished. He really lived for 10,000 years? How could a person live for so long? If the person in front of him was not Emperor Qing, if it were any other soul beast, she wouldn't believe it. However, the person in front of him was the Azure Emperor, the supreme existence of the extreme north, a famous existence in the world of soul beasts. Naturally, he wouldn't lie to her. At the same time, she looked at the others. If this was true, then everything that had happened before could be explained. For example, why was the demonic Emperor Koan so easily subdued? A mere piece of music was obviously not enough. His words just now were enough for Qing Qing to open the black tortoise imperial city's protective barrier. In the eyes of the soul demons, the means of the fiend gods all originated from this. How is this the means of a demon god? Was this his plan? Shiyu suddenly understood. Previously, she had some vague guesses in her heart. However, this conjecture was too preposterous and overturned everything she knew, so she did not think too deeply about it, because the biggest question had always been bothering her. I remember that in the secret scroll of the Martial Spirit Palace's Douluo Chronicles, there was a brief description of white-robed Poktif strength. 10,000 years ago, his last record was that his soul power was at rank 90, but he was comparable to a god-rank powerhouse. Could it be that in these 10,000 years, his strength didn't increase, but decreased instead? She looked at Emperor Qing and the others in confusion. A person could not live for 10,000 years. Even a god-rank powerhouse could not live for so long in the Douluo world, unless they entered another world. Perhaps only Master knows the reason for this. Qing Qing shook her head. His soul power rank is not high, but it seems a little different. I remember that Qilin Lord Isimu became his soul ring. How did it become a soul beast now? He revived Qilin Lord Isimu. The Ice Emperor thought about it and felt that this idea was a little preposterous. One had to know that Qilin Lord Isimu was very powerful. It was impossible to revive Qilin Lord Isimu after it became a soul ring. This was because it did not even have the same body. Even if it was supplemented with countless natural treasures, it was still impossible. What happened to him in the five-colored sacred mountain? The Ice Emperor was a little frustrated. Why is he still a mystery after 10,000 years? The frustrated Ice Emperor raised its scorpion tail and poked at the snowflakes floating in the air. It wanted to use this to comfort the frustration in its heart. The feeling of wanting to understand the situation, but being unable to do anything, was very annoying. Five-colored sacred mountain? You mean the Star Battle Sacred Mountain? She was stunned. Star Battle Sacred Mountain? What does it have to do with him? Emperor Qing, is there something you haven't told me? Qing Qing shook her head helplessly and said, I don't know much. Back then, Master suddenly told me that there was a problem with his body. He needed to find a place to hibernate and seal it so that he could control his body. He said that he went to the Great Stardow Forest. After that, the five-colored sacred mountain appeared in the Great Stardow Forest. I went there a few times and found that Master was sealed in this mountain. After that, the five-colored sacred mountain changed greatly. Master did not respond, so I rarely went there. Very few people knew about the situation of the War of the Gods back then. If Wang Feng had not pulled the battle apart in time, Martial Spirit City would have been destroyed by the aftershocks. Everyone inside had fainted because of the huge battle. Even titled Dalu could not remain conscious under the impact of that level of battle. Even someone as strong as the 1,000 Dao, Flow, could not hold on after the appearance of the God King of Destruction. Not to mention Qing Qing and the rest, who were thousands of miles away. Even though they could sense the aftershocks of that battle, they did not know the exact situation. Wang Feng also did not explain in detail. Sealed in the 5-colored sacred mountain, Shi Yu was stunned. She could not help but take a deep breath. She felt as if she had discovered a huge secret. She had been to the Star Battle Sacred Mountain before. When she had just stepped into rank 99, she had been to the Star Battle Sacred Mountain for a long time. 1 in, 1 out. 3 in, 3 out. She had tried everything. As the strongest person in the Federation, it was undeniable that the Great Star Doe Forest was very mysterious and powerful. However, it was not impossible for her to enter. But she did not find anything. She could feel the majesty of the 5 sacred mountains. If she had not been there and was not strong enough, she would not know how powerful the energy fluctuations of the 5 sacred mountains were. It was as if the heavens and earth could not compare. Later, Shiyu did not go because she had already aroused the vigilance of the soul beasts after a few visits. If she went again, she was afraid that a huge battle would happen. For the sake of research, Shiyu wanted to collect the materials of the 5 sacred mountains and bring them back to the Federation headquarters for research. But she found that even if she used all her strength, she could not take away even a fingernail-sized stone from the 5-colored sacred mountain. Helpless, she could only take away some of the surrounding stones, vegetation, wood, minerals, and so on. What Shiyu did not expect was that these materials allowed her to easily create a Class 9 soul tool and become the first Class 9 soul engineer in the Federation. That is a treasure, Shiyu knew, but it was also a forbidden area, because 5 energy tides had erupted there, causing the world to change. Later on, the Martial Spirit Palace and Heavenly King Douluo had proposed to form a team to collect resources near the 5-colored sacred mountain, but Shiyu had forbidden it. It was too dangerous. It might be fine to go once in a while, but if they formed a team, they would definitely regret attracting the soul beasts nearby. If they were not careful, it might cause the 6th Soul Beast War. Shiyu had thought of many possibilities regarding the origin of the Star Battle Sacred Mountain. For example, it was caused by the changes in the continent's topography, or it could be a fossil evolved from some soul beast that had lived for countless years after failing to transcend their tribulations. It could also be a special and rare miracle. But she did not expect that there was actually a person sealed in the Star Battle Sacred Mountain. What's more, it sealed such a legendary figure. So, the 5 energy tides that erupted in the Star Battle Sacred Mountain in the past few thousand years were all related to him. It was as if she had learned a shocking secret. She could not help but look at Wang Feng, who was absorbing and cultivating in midair. The Star Battle Sacred Mountain had existed for so many years, and there were countless legends and rumors. Among them, there was no lack of people who speculated whether there was some kind of monster sealed inside. Most of them were nonsense. They were just baseless guesses. But she did not expect it to be true. There must be a connection. Otherwise, why would the extreme north run out to help you humans after so many soul beast wars? The Ice Emperor said, unhappily. The Azure Emperor said that it might be Wang Feng who did it, so he had to step in. In the words of you humans, what is this called, wiping his ass? Perhaps the Ice Emperor felt that these words were a little rude, but he shrank back and snorted after saying them. In a sense, it was just as the Ice Emperor said. All these years, if the extreme north did not appear in time to stop the war, the world might be in a different situation now. You can't say that. The benefits of the energy tides far outweigh the disadvantages, Qing Qing retorted. Qing Qing retorted, let's not talk about other places. After the 4th energy tide, powerful soul beasts appeared like a geyser, resulting in the current situation in the extreme north. We are stronger than the Great Star Doe Forest, and the aquatic soul beasts in the vast ocean are not stronger than us. The Ice Emperor nodded. What she said was true. Self-sealing, 5-colored sacred mountain energy tides, 10,000 years, soul contract master. Names flashed through Shiyu's mind. The combination seemed to understand something. A person from 10,000 years ago appeared in the present. Anyone would find it unbelievable and unbelievable. But it happened in front of them. Shiyu pondered. The current era was the best era because the vibrations and changes caused by the energy tides had slowly weakened. Under normal circumstances, the Six-Soul Beast War would not break out. Whether it was soul masters, soul engineers, or soul guidance technology, they had all entered a prosperous stage of development. But was also the worst era. The appearance of the evil soul beasts could be said to be a warning to the Federation. The soul demons from the Dark Demon realm will be the biggest threat in the future. This threat would last for a long time. In such an era, this person from 10,000 years ago appeared, and the resurrected Ice Emperor Lin Lord, Soul Contract Master. Thoughts flew through Shiyu's mind, and she thought of many things. By the way, where are the three Douluo Heavenly Kings? Shiyu frowned and asked. I remember that the three of them also entered the extreme ice layer. Why didn't they come out? Shiyu entered the extreme north with the Douluo Heavenly King to investigate the situation. She disguised herself as part of the investigation team and secretly investigated the situation. Later, after encountering the soul demons, a great battle broke out. She killed her way to where Hei Ying, the Dark Demon Elder, was, but the other three were injured by the soul demons and entered the extreme ice layer. They were taken in by the Azure Emperor to recover. The three of them. Qing hesitated for a few seconds. When they came, they were already infected by the soul demons, but their situation was not serious. They said that they did not want to cause trouble for us in the extreme ice layer, so they took the initiative to leave. I urged them to stay, but the three of them still did not stay. They went north. North? She was stunned. The north of the extreme north was the glacier. Beyond the glacier was the Sun-Moon continent, the territory of the Sun-Moon Empire. The situation in the Sun-Moon Empire was not much better than the Federation. In fact, it was more complicated and difficult. The reason was simple. The largest gathering place of evil soul beasts on the continent was in the evil demon forest of the Sun-Moon Empire. The north is full of glaciers, and there are very few soul beasts. Correspondingly, there are also very few evil soul beasts. In addition to the extremely low temperature, the origin energy of heaven and earth is also scarce. Even evil soul beasts are rarely in that glacier area. If it's just a temporary shelter, it's also a good place to go. The three of them should be fine. Besides, the soul demons in the extreme north have been completely repelled. Qing pondered. Later, I will send a soul beast to scout and send a signal to them. Let them return to the Federation. She nodded slightly. The Federation had lost many soul masters on this trip. The investigation team that followed the three Douluo Heavenly Kings lost 2/3 of their members. If she had not followed them secretly, they would have been completely wiped out. But fortunately, everything was resolved. Next, I will stay here for a few days to see if I missed anything. Shiyu said slowly. Missed anything? The Ice Emperor glanced to Shiyu. There's no need for that, right? We will check it ourselves. If something happened to the little Kuan shark and that 10-ring soul demon, we won't stay in the extreme ice layer. If it's just a few soul demons, we won't be afraid. Shiyu smiled and said, That's fine too. In that case, I will take my leave first. By the way, when he finishes his cultivation, please tell him that the upcoming Continental Soul Master Tournament is very important. I hope to see him in person at the Martial Spirit Palace. As for that plan, I will accompany him whenever he wants to find me. After saying that, she took a deep look at Wang Feng. The yin and yang origin martial spirits appeared like a space-time gate. She stepped into it and disappeared into the air. This she Douluo. The Ice Emperor's voice was strange. What plan? Does she have some unspeakable secret with Wang Feng? This is too much. Sister hasn't woken up yet, and he actually provoked another human woman. He is old enough to be her ancestor. It's not that simple. Emperor Qing's tone was a little heavy. The Shi Douluo's origin is very mysterious. It's not an exaggeration to say that his strength is the strongest on the continent. Even if Master doesn't appear this time, she can still deal with the soul demon. She might have some kind of deal with Master. It's not an exaggeration to say that this woman can dominate this era. Furthermore, I can feel that how does she feel about Wang Feng? Is she curious? If she's just curious, then isn't she finished? No, the Douluo is very ambitious. She can't possibly like a man. Do you know how many human powerhouses have willingly submitted to her over the years? You mean she wants to conquer Wang Feng? Cough, cough. I didn't say that. Teach, forget it. I know your master well. He is obsessed with looks. Look at all the women he has provoked before. Which one of them isn't beautiful? In the eyes of humans, soul beasts like us are all strange and weird. Sister is an exception. That's why he provoked her. In his eyes, soul beasts like us aren't interested in him at all. This Douluo's looks are very ordinary among the women he has provoked. If she wants to conquer Wang Feng, she won't be able to do it with just her looks. Don't you know how narcissistic your master is? All right, I admit that he's very good-looking. Narcissism makes sense. The Ice Emperor snorted. However, the Lotus Emperor smiled. There was a deeper meaning in his smile. Ice, why do you sound a little jealous? What do you mean by not interested in soul beasts like us? The Lotus Emperor asked. Why would I be jealous? The Ice Emperor was taken aback. I'm just speaking the truth. Is that so? A clear voice sounded at this moment. Instantly, the Ice Emperor's body trembled. A figure descended from the sky. It was Wang Feng. You Ice Scorpion. Wang Feng looked at the Ice Emperor in front of him and couldn't help but laugh. I didn't expect you know so much about me. The Ice Emperor was speechless. I'm warning you, don't call me Ice Scorpion. The Ice Emperor sounded a little unhappy. I'm the Ice Emperor, the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion. Also, you're not even rank 40 right now. You can't beat me. You've only managed to kill those soul beasts because of your cunning tricks. However, I won't fall for your tricks. Wang Feng laughed. He thought to himself, this Ice Scorpion knows me better than Ching. Master, as the saying goes, the longer you think about something, the deeper you think about it. When you think about someone all the time, you'll think about their words and actions and analyze their likes and dislikes. The more you think about it, the more you'll understand. Ching said casually from the side. Nonsense. I'm not. The Ice Emperor panicked. Stop talking nonsense, Lotus Emperor. I'm not talking about you. Why are you so anxious? Ching looked at the Ice Emperor in astonishment. Stop it. Stop teasing me with your master. I won't fall for it. I'm not interested in your master at all. The Ice Emperor snorted. Do you think I've lived all these years for nothing? I'm wholeheartedly devoted to my sister. Wang Feng laughed heartily. Speaking of which, this Ice Scorpion had indeed lived for a long time. If you're not interested in my master, then what about your 600,000-year calamity? The Lotus Emperor said with a smile. I believe that in this world, there's no one other than my master who can help you get through this 600,000-year calamity. The Ice Emperor's current cultivation was 600,000 years. To be precise, it was almost there. This meant that she had to get through the 600,000-year calamity. This 600,000 years was a leap for her. One had to know that in the extreme north, her cultivation speed and potential would slowly and subtly change when she was with Ching. This was because Ching possessed part of the Golden Lotus abilities. In addition to the energy tide, the concentration of vitality increased. The current Ice Emperor was no longer the Ice Emperor with less than 300,000 years of cultivation. I can influence your previous two calamities, but this time, I don't have many ways to help you. Ching said slowly. 600,000-year calamity? Wang Feng looked at the Ice Emperor and was moved. Could he test it? The life soul contract could allow soul beasts to avoid the calamity. This was a huge temptation for soul beasts of more than 100,000 years. But until now, this was only a theory. Even in that speech, Wang Feng said that this was only a theory. He never had a chance to test it. Now, it seemed like there was a chance. Wang Feng stared at the Ice Emperor. If he could test it, It would prove that the life-soul contract could definitely allow soul beasts to avoid the calamity. It wouldn't be just a theory. The Ice Emperor was a little scared by Wang Feng's gaze. She couldn't help but scold. Wang Feng, why are you looking at me? I'll make the decision for my calamity. I don't need others to help me. Wang Feng, didn't I help you the previous 2 calamities? Qing Qing was speechless. You're not a human. You're a soul beast. The Ice Emperor retorted. Wang Feng shook his head. Then, he looked at the rest of the guys. After carefully observing them, Wang Fengxin was very pleased. These underlings were all extraordinarily developed. Their strength had increased greatly, and their bloodlines had also strengthened. They all had the potential to become gods. The future was promising. Boss, I've written all the things that happened in the extreme north. I'll show it to you when I have time. Odontosukis flew over and laughed. Do you know how many fans I have in the extreme north? Wang Feng. Odontosukis used Wang Feng's story as a model before. It was widely spread among the soul beasts in the extreme north. Many soul beasts knew about Wang Feng's story. How many? Wang Feng asked. At least this many. Odontosukis stretched out 2 front palms. 100,000? Wang Feng was shocked. Not only that. Boss, you're underestimating the extreme north. Odontosukis laughed proudly. It's 1 million. The Blackwater crocodile walked over and glanced at Odontosukis. Odontosukis didn't dare to laugh immediately. When Wang Feng saw this scene, he thought to himself, Otaku crocodile looks like he's too old to care about anything. 1 million. This number was still terrifying. 1 million soul beasts. Chapter 1231. What is it called? Wang Feng nodded. Romance of the 8 Beasts. In the first chapter, the 8 beasts of the Ice Layer, the Blood Alliance, broke the glacier, and the Azure the Arch showed his power in the north. My boss, let me tell you about it. By the way, the world under heaven continent. Wang Feng was shocked. Are you Luo Guanzhong of the Beasts? After hearing a few words, Wang Feng knew that these guys had made a name for themselves in the past 10,000 years. Especially after the collision of the 2 continents. The collision of the 2 glaciers caused countless disasters and awakened even more soul beasts. Odontosukis' romance of the 8 beasts was the story of that timeline. Wang Feng sighed in his heart. As the leader, he had only given the 8 of them one possibility. In fact, their current cultivation and achievements were all created by themselves. Boss, those soul demons will come again, right? Iron Fox walked over and asked in a low voice. Among the 8 of them, Iron Fox and Shinbing were the most cautious. Especially Iron Fox. He was like a military advisor. He was very useful. Yes, Wang Feng said without hesitation, and there will be more of them. As expected, Iron Fox sighed. Iron Fox sighed. A few years ago, I left the extreme north and traveled through many soul beast forests. I saw these special eggs, but I didn't notice them at the time. I thought they were just ordinary soul beast eggs. Later, in the evil soul forest on the Sun Moon continent, I sensed a riot of evil soul beasts. At that time, I felt something was wrong. Unfortunately, when I came back, I found that Brother Kuin and Sister Shark had been raising those eggs for a long time. I didn't have time to stop them. This is not your fault. Wang Feng shook his head. These soul demons are related to another world. The strength of the Dark Demon realm is not something that Douluo can compare to. The soul demons that we have dealt with now are the weakest in the army of the Dark Demon realm. In the next 100 years, the world will erupt into war. 100 years was not short for soul beasts, but it was not long either. Some soul beasts could sleep for a while. So fast. Iron Fox was stunned. 100 years, even if we cultivate day by day, it will be hard to catch up. Shinbing walked over and said with a serious face, Boss, did you wake up because of this? It was a coincidence that I woke up. Wang Feng shook his head. It's true that you won't be able to catch up with those soul demons, even after 100 years. But if we work together, things will be different. We will work together with the humans. Unite with the humans? What does master mean? Qing Qing flew over, her phoenix eyes flashing with a strange light. I understand the current strength of the humans. Even if we work together with them for 100 years, we still won't be able to defeat them. Even so, they might not be able to defeat the army of soul demons in the dark demon realm, right? It will take at least 1,000 years. What Ching had said was conservative, not to mention 1,000 years. Even if the Douluo world was given a few thousand years, they still might not be able to defeat the dark demon world army. Wang Feng smiled. Of course, this was under the premise that there was no soul contract master around. However, things will be different with a soul contractor. It was important to note that a 100,000-year soul beast could become a soul-bonded beast of a soul do, or even a titled Dalu. The strength of these two added together was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. When all the people had soul contract masters, the Douluo world would still have a high chance of winning against the Dark Demon World's army. When will the Ice Emperor's heavenly tribulation be? Wang Feng did not answer but asked. It will probably be in the next few days. Ching thought for a moment. The Ice Emperor and I have a plan. If the Dalu doesn't succeed, we will go with her to find that 10-ring God-rank soul demon and use the method of triggering the heavenly tribulation to eliminate the other party. This is the last method. Fortunately, Master, you appeared. Ching had a backup plan. The heavenly tribulation of a 600,000-year soul beast. Even if it couldn't kill He, it could still seriously injure him to death. It could be considered a trump card. I will do an experiment at that time. If the experiment is successful, I will tell you. Wang Feng said slowly. Experiment? What experiment? Wang Feng, what do you want to do to me? The Ice Emperor flew over and said vigilantly. I'm not my sister. Don't try to fool me. I can beat you now. The Ice Emperor poked the air in front of Wang Feng with his scorpion tail, as if he was demonstrating his power. You can't beat him. Lord Bing descended from the sky. When the soul beasts saw this ancestor-level existence, they couldn't help but lower their heads and greet him respectfully. Impossible. The Ice Emperor was unconvinced. Although I don't know what's going on with him, he is only around rank 30. I have a 600,000-year cultivation. How can I not beat him? Lord Bing stood in midair. His cultivation level was close to 20,000 years after the absorption and cultivation just now. However, his aura was incomparable. That kind of innate pressure made it difficult for these soul beasts to resist. The Ice Emperor controls the power of God. Lord Bing said indifferently, No, that should be the power above God. That is the strongest origin law power in the world. As long as boss reaches rank 40, even million-year soul beasts won't be his match. Hearing this, the Ice Emperor was stunned. The rest of his soul beasts were also stunned. That's too exaggerated. I don't believe it. The Ice Emperor scolded. 10,000 years ago, he was able to fight those 30 to 40 ranks higher than him. Now, it's no longer a problem of 30 to 40 ranks higher. Furthermore, million-year soul beasts are much stronger than they were 10,000 years ago. He has already broken the rules of this world, right? How can a rank 40 soul master be able to control the power of God? Boss isn't a soul master. He's a soul contract master now. At this moment, Long Xie flew out and chuckled. Scorpion, do you really think Boss is weak because his rank dropped? Be careful of Boss's original body. He can poke you with a finger and make you scream. After some cultivation, Long Xie's cultivation had reached 20,000 years in advance. He was trying to reach 30,000 years. Lord Bing and Long Xie's words contained a lot of information. This caused these fellows to be a little confused for a moment. Soul Contract Master? Iron Fox thought for a few seconds. Is this your idea, boss? Iron Fox was smart and was the first to react. Original body? Ching also reacted. She sized Wang Feng up a few times. After confirming that there was no problem, she said in shock, Master, is this your avatar? If this was his avatar, it would explain why his soul power was so low. But how did he do it? Seeing all the soul beasts looking at him curiously, Wang Feng waved his hand and said, It's my avatar. It's a long story. Shall I go and see the Snow Empress first? Oh, Did someone finally remember my sister? I thought he forgot about her. The Ice Emperor was delighted when he heard this. He said in a strange tone, "It's been half a day, but someone hasn't mentioned her at all. My poor sister. Although she doesn't ask when she wakes up, I know she wants to ask someone." Who knew that she wasn't important at all in someone's heart? After hearing this, Wang Feng laughed and said, "What do you know? The more important something is, the more he will put it last." The Ice Emperor thought for a moment. Does he mean that the less important something is, the more he will mention it first? Isn't Wang Feng the first to talk to me? When he thought of this, the Ice Emperor was a little angry. What does he mean? I'm not important? No, wait. Does it matter if I'm important to him or not? Why am I angry? The Ice Emperor's expression changed. Even the color of his body changed slightly. Fortunately, he was a scorpion. Humans couldn't see the changes in his expression. "Follow me." The Ice Emperor snorted and said, "Your words are nice. I wonder if you still remember what my sister looks like after so many years." Of course, he wouldn't forget. Although Wang Feng spent most of his time in the past 10,000 years comprehending the laws, there were some people that he couldn't forget. "I can't forget." Wang Feng sighed. How many times has she woken up over these years? Logically speaking, she should be able to absorb the absolute ice origin of Qilin Lord Bingmu for a few hundred years. Why did she sleep and cultivate for so long? A total of 5 times. The Ice Emperor brought Wang Feng to the Jade Spiritual Tree Emperor in the middle. Actually, after she woke up for the second time, she said that she had finished absorbing the absolute ice origin. After that, she said that she had received someone's power, which caused a mutation with the absolute ice origin. This caused her to need to cultivate and sleep again. During this cultivation sleep, she either woke up on her own, or she was awakened. My sister is the strongest in the extreme north. After she woke up for the second time, she was close to 10,000 years old. After she woke up for the 5th time, even we couldn't estimate her cultivation. She should have been more than 1,000,000 years old. However, she encountered a bottleneck. We don't know the details either. After the 5th time, she didn't wake up even once. The Snow Emperor situation was very complicated. Wang Feng suddenly remembered that he used his blood to save the Snow Empress. He even used the Red Lotus fire to temper her body. She wasn't the same Snow Empress anymore. Qing didn't absorb anything similar to the absolute ice origin, so this didn't happen. However, Qing was strong because she was all-round. She was a hexagonal warrior. The situation of the Snow Empress, who had absorbed the absolute ice origin, was naturally very special. Wang Feng wasn't too sure either. However, after hearing the Ice Emperor talk about the Snow Emperor's strength, Wang Feng understood something. It could be that the Snow Emperor's strength had broken through the limits, which went against the rules of the Douluo world. Especially now that the God Realm and the Douluo world had lost contact, there was no possibility for her to become a god. It was also harder for her to break through the limits of the rules. The excessive amount of energy made it difficult for the Snow Empress to control herself. She could only sleep. "If that's the case, it's similar to me," Wang Fengxin said. "If you can wake my sister up, don't let her down." The Ice Emperor suddenly turned and looked at Wang Feng. "Oh," Wang Feng laughed. "Don't you like your sister? If I let her down, won't you have a chance? Why are you advising me not to let her down? I just don't want to see my sister sad," the Ice Emperor said plainly. "Isn't that what liking someone is like? This isn't liking someone. This is love." Wang Feng sighed. Liking someone is selfish. Love, on the other hand, is selfless. "I don't care about selflessness," the Ice Emperor said impatiently. "Although I don't want my sister to be sad. If you can't wake her up later, it means that she's given up on you. Then don't blame me. She's mine." Wang Feng laughed out loud. "I hope that your sister won't wake up for now." Wang Feng sighed. He had no choice. An outstanding man was never lacking in worries. Unknowingly, he had attracted so many girls. Wang Fengxin was also very troubled. Wang Feng suddenly missed his past self, who was ordinary and didn't have a system. However, when Wang Feng climbed to the top of the Jade Spiritual Tree Emperor and saw the sleeping Snow Empress, Wang Feng immediately threw that nostalgia to the back of his mind. It didn't matter if he had more worries. The Snow Empress was still lying on the ice bed. Just like the ice bed, she didn't seem to have melted. The Snow Empress' appearance didn't change. However, Wang Feng was stunned after not seeing her for 10,000 years. It was similar to the first time Wang Feng looked at himself in the mirror after waking up 10,000 years ago. She was dressed in white, and her skin was whiter than snow. Her ice blue hair was like a blooming flower that scattered on the ice bed. She looked like a sleeping goddess. Her voice and smile appeared in Wang Feng's mind, but it also seemed like it happened yesterday. Her undulating body outlined a soul-stirring, beautiful curve. Other than that threatening cold air, there was nothing that wasn't beautiful. Wang Feng walked over. However, he frowned after taking a few steps. The cold air was too strong. It seemed to be formed by the power of absolute ice, but it wasn't just that. Even Wang Feng's current body couldn't get close. Question mark. Wang Feng was shocked. The Ice Empress, who was at the side, looked like she was waiting to watch a good show. This is the power of laws. Wang Feng took a deep breath. Could it be that the Snow Empress comprehended it herself? What was above the power of absolute ice? It could only be the power of laws. For example, the power of the ice god was the law of ice. However, it was almost impossible for a soul beast to comprehend such a power. Qilin Lord Bingmu had controlled the power of absolute ice for so many years, but he couldn't break through the limit of 1,000,000 years. It was impossible for him to comprehend the power of laws. This symbolized the power of God, self-created deity position. This word appeared in Wang Feng's mind. If that was the case, the Snow Empress was a little too powerful. No wonder the Snow Empress was in a deep sleep. Furthermore, it seemed like she was close to success. However, because she had lost contact with the God Realm, the deity position she created couldn't be recognized by the God Realm. As a result, the Snow Empress was too strong and couldn't break through. She couldn't convert the power of absolute ice into the power of laws. Otherwise, if she was too strong and didn't have a chance to increase her cultivation, she would explode. Her situation was similar to Wang Feng's. Wang Feng's eyes flashed. It seems like you're the same. Sister's situation is getting more and more complicated. It's hard for us to get close, let alone wake her up. The Ice Emperor was happy. He was very happy. He saw that Wang Feng couldn't get close to his sister. What did this mean? It meant that his sister didn't want him to get close. Wang Feng couldn't get close. He wasn't even at rank 40. He had to be at rank 60 before he could walk in front of the Snow Empress and do something else. However, this was what Wang Feng wanted. He didn't want to wake the Snow Empress up so early. He was a man, and he still wanted to save some face. Wang Feng turned around and said, "She doesn't need to be woken up. She can't wake up. If she does, the laws of ice in her body will go out of control." Sophistry. The Ice Emperor didn't believe him. "Forget it if you don't believe me." Wang Feng took a few steps forward. However, at this moment, the special cold air around the Snow Empress suddenly separated and formed a small path for Wang Feng. It seemed like she wanted Wang Feng to go over. The Ice Emperor was stunned. P.S. It was a little troublesome to split the chapters, so I didn't do it. I don't want to do it in the future. The word count is the same. 10,000 words. Let's see if I can add 14,000 words tomorrow. Also, please count the votes that you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.